Welcome, everyone, to the Mummy's Mask Adventure Path. My name is, of course, Jericho. I will be your GM for this story. For thousands of years, the land of Osirion has stood as one of the most powerful and influential human nations in all of the Inner Sea region. This land has stood witness to the rise and fall of kings, the march of countless armies, and the whispers of the gods themselves. Some of them, at least. Once the Osiriani people ruled over their vast empire, pharaohs commanding the people with divine authority under their patron deity Nethys. As the years passed, though, the golden ages of Osirion crumbled. The region fell to the rule of the Kellish Empire, the old ways of the people buried under the desert's ever-hungry grasp. This outside rule did not last forever, though, and soon after the advent of the Age of Lost Omens, a powerful wizard arrived from Absalom upon Osirion's shores, claiming to be descended from the ancient pharaohs. Instigating a bloodless coup, Osirion fell back unto the rule of its original Mwangi heritage. Today, the grandson of this powerful wizard, Ruby Prince Khemet III, the Fourth Bringer, sits upon the nation's throne. The Ruby Prince has made great strides in the political scene these last years, turning Osirion once more into a global powerhouse. He's brokered agreements with celestials, fiends, elementals, alongside the newly chartered Council of Liberated Slaves, has helped to solidify this young pharaoh's political power. On the economic side, he's opened up the many tombs and burial sites of the region to foreign explorers. An understanding that adventurers who have traveled these great distances in search of treasure typically would sell or trade their discoveries at the closest civilized community has led to a flood of economic growth. This new policy, starting 7 years ago, has attracted not only numerous explorers, but countless scholars, private collectors, special interest groups like the Pathfinder Society, and financial interests from all over the Inner Sea. Minor and major industries have thus sprung up to support these visitors. Every opening of a major site has heralded an economic boom in both the local area and Osirion as a whole. Our story begins in the city of Wati, a large city sitting atop a sandstone cliff at the confluence of the Asp and Crook rivers, providing the settlement with building materials, rich farmland, and deep harbors. These industries are not what the city is known for, though, as behind massive sanctified walls, an entire quarter of the city quietly sits as a massive urban tomb. Shops, schools, markets, and estates serve as eternal resting places for those lost to madness and disease some 2,200 years ago. The city's most lucrative industry remains that of interment. Embalmers, undertakers, clerics of Pharasma, and the crafters of various grave goods stimulate the economy and export their goods and services all across the nation. Unlike many of Osirion's tombs and graveyards these days, the necropolis of Wati has remained largely untouched, in no small part because of the local taboos and protection of the Grand Mausoleum's priests. Now, Khemet III has ordered local authorities and the Church of Pharasma to open Wati's necropolis to exploration. The powers that be had no choice but to follow, albeit unhappily. In order to maintain some control of these explorations to come, and to ensure that the dead and their burial sites are honored, the Grand Mausoleum has organized a lottery. allowing those who have formed groups of no fewer than 3 members to be allocated a series of sites for them to explore. Now, this lottery requires no background checks, no special fees, or any other requirements, and so all manner of individual has signed up to participate. We begin our story the day the lottery is to be held. The city bustles with anticipation. Merchants peddle maps of the necropolis and tinctures of varying efficacy, while the various taverns fill with hopeful adventurers boasting of their future conquests. Whispers of forgotten curses and the long dead plague of madness circulate amongst wary locals, planting seeds of doubt within the minds of the unconfident. Those who are smart, though, those who are prepared, know that spending time drinking and telling tale at an inn is simply wasted opportunity. Knowledge of what lies beyond the gates of the necropolis is of utmost importance to those who truly wish to succeed, and for that reason, the most confident and skillful of adventurers have found their way to the sand-swept archive, Wati's resident library, poring over ancient tomes and scrolls, hoping to glean secrets that will assist them. It is at this archive where we begin our tale. Tall wooden shelves form narrow corridors, blocking out the sunlight streaming through the high windows, offering a cool bit of shade as we approach the hottest hours of the day. The scent of parchment, ink, and incense lingers in the dry air, numerous individuals murmuring quietly amongst themselves. We join with a newly arrived individual at the library, one who has yet to find a group with which to adventure, and who perhaps seeks out other answers beyond solely what lies in store beyond the walls of the necropolis. Amanemso, would you please describe your character to us?
Okay. Almanemsu is a young Osiriani male. He usually dresses in finery, something that you would attribute to more of like a bellhop. Um, and he seems more at home along the books and the rows of shelves uh, of this library. Um, and you don't really he doesn't really uh, exude much of a inner confidence just yet, but he does you do see that he carries a cane with him as well.
All right. It is roughly 20 minutes before noon at this point, Amanemsu, as you have arrived at the library. I believe a relatively familiar place to you at this point in time. Is there anything in particular you are looking for as you approach today? Are you looking for specific books? Are you looking for people? Are you just looking to escape the sun right now?
I feel like he's perused the books so often throughout his life that I think he's leaving it up to his own fate. What should he be looking at now? So I think you would leave it. I would leave it up to a role.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and let's say roll a religion check for me if you don't mind. Let's see what fate has in store for you. Okay. On a 17, as you make your way past the sort of ivy covered entryway, one of the few truly spots of green in the city, and into the cool interior, uh, taking a quick glance around, you can see numerous people sort of sitting at the various small nooks, reading a variety of tomes and scrolls, talking amongst themselves, some of them even taking notes on paper they've brought with them. It is not any individual adventurer who finds you, but the librarian, Jedipet, a ancient male Ivaran, who is, at this point, from most people's guess, only a few years away from passing away from old age, who has been in charge of this library for nearly 80 years at this point. But he approaches you as you step into the library. Ah, Eminemsu, what brings you back here today?
I feel like I've come to solidify my nerves from this new adventure that I seem to be finding myself in. Um, any new books that I haven't that you've got in stock?
We've had a few people selling old stock when they came in. I'm sure you're not particularly interested in the romance section that has begun to burgeon recently. Let's see, what have we gotten in stock recently? Now that I think about it, we did get a new tome in stock recently that I believe is currently in use, but may be of some interest to you. It is a study on some of the forgotten religious sects of ancient Osirion, with a focus on those that venerated death in defiance of the Lady of Graves' teachings.
That sounds rather interesting. In fact, I would love to get my hands on it.
Of course, it is currently in use at the moment. A Another individual came in looking for new tomes this morning and has been perusing it since. Would you like me to go check with them when they may be finished?
I would be much appreciative.
Of course.
Uh, even put my name on a list for it if possible.
If you'd like to come with me, if they're finished, then we could certainly hand it over to you immediately.
That would be excellent.
And with a quick sharp nod, Jedipet will turn and quickly stalk his way between the shelves of the library, a path that is quite familiar to you. He passes by the sort of central reading area and takes you towards one of the side nooks that are really only like one or two tables, low to the ground with cushions as seats, with candles to help light what you are reading. And as you come around the corner, would the individual who is reading this book, Nahamara, please describe your character to us?
Yeah. Nahama is very a natural pallor to his skin, with some stark white hair, um, some piercing violet eyes that seem to have a little bit more wisdom than his age shows. He's wearing a mixture of cloth and leathers. Through the gaps along his arms, you can see some interesting, weird writing up his arms, some tattoos. He is sitting there, seems to have quite a bit of confidence in himself. And he's just a stack of books beside him, flipping through the book that he's looking at now.
All right. As you are currently sitting and reading these tomes, you pick up out of the corner of your eye and hear them walking through what sounds like a pair of individuals making their way towards you. And the librarian who you very easily recognize, yourself a relative regular of this library since you have arrived in the city, comes around the corner with a very well dressed individual. Ah, Nahamara, this is another individual who was interested in the new tomes that I recommended to you today. Do you have perhaps a idea of when you may be finished with your studies that I may pass it on to him to check out?
Yeah, I think I've got what I need for the moment. Um, he he can sit and join and flip through what I already finished, and I'll just pass the books along to him as we go. Does that sound okay?
Jetapet will look over to you, Amenemsu.
Uh, uh, sure. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah,
His
please have a seat.
eyes. Eminem Sue would sit and pull the tome towards himself.
Yeah. Having it pointed out to you, the tome you grab would be called The Golden Mask. The account that Jetapet told you about, the study on the sort of forgotten religious sects of ancient Osirion. And you are welcome to begin attempting to read it. I do believe you speak ancient Osiriani, correct?
I do.
Yeah. Then hieroglyphics are, of course, a bit challenging to read. They are definitely different from how modern Osiriani is written, but still easily recognizable to you, and you are able to begin processing the contents of this book without much issue. Nahamara, let's see here. I would like from you, could you go ahead and give me a society check? Just to see what books you may be reading at the moment and what you may
Uh,
be comprehending. Oh, we are getting good rolls off the bat, y'all. I love to see it. Yeah. You, I imagine, would currently be reading a much more boring tome, but it is a treatise on Osiriani astrology. It's a study of the constellations, their supposed influence over the fate of the ancient pharaohs and even the Kellish Sultanate that has since evaporated from Osirion's rule, but looking a bit into that more divine aspect of things. It's both an interesting tome and exceedingly boring. It's full of just sort of jargon that describes things well, but uses three paragraphs to describe a statement that could have been described in one or two sentences.
and he seems to be enjoying every bit of it.
Awful. How dare you? But the two of you have these tomes in front of you and are welcome to continue reading them if you would like. You do both know at this point it's approaching noon, and at about 6:37 p.m. is when the lottery is supposed to start. And if you want to be able to explore Wati's necropolis, you need a group of at least three people, and you need to get your names over to the Grand Mausoleum in advance, such that you can actually be put in the lottery. So you do have a mild timetable on that front.
I think Nahama finding a good stopping point would just ask um, a Minimasu, what brings you in today?
Oh, um, well, actually, I'm stealing my nerves, I guess. Um, You know that lottery that they're doing today? I'm gonna put my name in, I guess. But guess I really haven't thought too much about it. I need to I need to find a need to find a few friends, I guess. Um, but how about yourself?
Yeah, so Plasma has told me that I will be in the necropolis. So I will be in this lottery. Um, I have faith she will guide me to the team, to the people I need. But I need to make sure I have the right strength with the group. Um, what makes you think you could make it through the necropolis?
Oh, at that you'd probably see a bit of uh I don't know, a little bit of confusion on his face, like, oh crap. Well, I I can't speak into that. I honestly, I just have this great feeling that my future rests somewhere within the necropolis, and I feel I need to go. Didn't check it out, see what I find in my future. Kind of weird, I guess. Maybe take it on faith.
Are you in it for the histories, for the money, for the information?
um, More self-discovery, I guess. Um, but yeah, making a name for myself, I guess, wouldn't be too bad of an outcome. How about yourself? I take it you're a follower of Pharasma. Um, can't say I know too much in religious studies, but um, that sounds rather interesting.
Yeah, she has shown me things. She has spoken to me. Um, but she doesn't give all the answers. I seek information, um, hoping to find something that'll answer questions that I have about my past. But I am quite the healer, so um, then he kind of hesitates and he kind of looks you up and down. Um, but I think we need more than just two.
Oh, you're looking for a group as well. Well,
That's
that's actually
that's the only way I'll be allowed in.
indeed very true. Um, Perhaps there are other patrons of the library uh, seeking the same information and compatriots. Um, this book, are you done with it? This has quite caught my attention.
Oh yes, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it sounds like perhaps looking for others who may be looking for a group in the library. If that is what you would like to do, I will leave the choice up to you what you would like to roll. You can either go with perception if you just want to be looking around. You could also give me diplomacy as gather information if you want to actively be asking around and see what you can find. And whichever you choose, this
I
roll
was
should be a
thinking.
blind roll.
Blind.
Okay. I was thinking the type of information somebody would be seeking or they're reading through, perhaps the books that they're researching would be a clue as to who might make a valuable part of the team. And I was wondering, would ancient Osiriani lore uh, be
Oh,
a useful.
yeah, to see if you can sort of mark people by what they're reading instead. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll absolutely allow that.
Okay. And you said blind.
Blind,
All
please.
right.
Yes.
And then I will kind of split off into a diplomacy.
Sounds good.
You said
Yeah,
blind.
blind GM roll is effectively how we'll be doing secret checks. Okay. Yeah, as the two of you split off from one another in order to see who else you can find. Amanemsu, it is going to be you first, and normally I wouldn't reveal this, but I do want to call attention to our first natural 20 of this campaign. So,
Nah.
very good
Woohoo!
there.
In secret.
In secret, of course. So maybe I'm lying, who knows?
Who knows?
But as you begin making your way around, seeing what else you can find, I'm going to ask Sahara, what might you be reading right now or looking for in the library? As I believe you were planning to come here as well. What specifically
Yes.
might have drawn you?
The title on the book cover is Ancient Chalices of Osari. And I am ignoring any of the text and I'm looking at the pictures, trying to see if I can identify any specific imagery.
Hmm. And you are, if I'm assuming correctly, looking for something similar to the chalice you have seen once before, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and generally give me a. Gotta check what lore skills everyone has. I would actually think mercantile lore would fit perfectly here to see if you can find any similarities. And as you give me that roll, would you also describe your character?
Okay. Sahara is a female elf, long blonde hair, very pale skin. The clothes that she wears look very rugged for travel. Though they are kept very clean and very nice looking, it is obvious with a couple of small stains here and a rip or tear here or there, um, that they have been well worn in. Uh, Beside her is a viola. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I believe
Uh,
so.
it's a very large guitar type instrument, typically taking two hands. And every now and then she'll caress it unconsciously. As she's reading through the book, she's ignoring the words that are written in the book and she's very intently staring at the pictures. This is more of a picture book than it is a written book, because one picture every 3 or 4 pages. 3 or 4 pages are completely worthless. They should just turn this into a picture book.
It's a
Um,
long book, so be cutting a lot of words.
it's the fast way to read.
Let's see here. Based off of that roll, I want to say, looking specifically for similar chalices to the one you saw somewhat recently. Unfortunately, nothing particularly similar jumps out at you in this book. This book, if you were reading the words, you might recognize is a bit more of a merchant's catalog of some of the more ornate and pricey chalices that have been excavated in recent years and sold off around Osirion. I would say on an 18, you're going to recognize a few similarities in design, specifically sort of the shape and volume the chalice is able to hold. It does seem that the chalice you saw would be of Osiriani origin, but you don't find any matching motifs or even directly similar materials that would allow you to connect the chalice you saw to a specific tomb or ruin.
Okay. I am also actively listening for anybody to be talking about needing a member of a party, uh, and hoping that I can insinuate myself in just by kind of like putting my name in the same group as everybody else because well that's how you do things, right?
Certainly.
Right.
Uh, well, as you are looking through this tome, taking a look, making sure your viola is there every now and then, Amanemsu, this would be the first person you come across who is both alone and has a tome that deals with the treasures in ancient Osirian.
Menem Sue would uh, stroll up. Um, Excuse me. I don't mean to be a bother, but I noticed that you happen to have the look of an adventure, and since you were alone, I figured I'd come and see if you were in need of a group to participate in the goings on. That'd be happening soon.
Oh, you mean putting my name into the lottery?
Yes, yes. I've been attempting to find a few people that would be interested in forming a party. Um,
I I
uh,
I'm gonna stand up very quickly. The chair will fall back out from underneath me because I'm way too excited. I'm very excited, and I'm going to push the book, and it's gonna almost teeter off of the table because the excitement is just flowing off of me. Yeah, yeah, I can go. Yeah, I've been hoping that I'd be able to get in with somebody. I mean, I just what's I sorry to ask this question, but what town are we in?
oh, um, y- you're very exuberant. Yes, you're in Wati. Uh, they're opening the necropolis soon.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard that's all I've
Lucky.
heard about all day, but nobody would tell me what city I was in. It was almost like when I was asking, they were thinking I was dumb or something. Probably the
Oh,
blonde hair.
oh well. Well, you are in Wati. I can't attest to what you were thinking, but um, he- uh, if what were you reading about? But
I
yeah.
wasn't really reading. I mean, reading is really boring. I was more looking at the pictures. I was trying to identify a couple of chalices. You know, drink things that you drink out of.
Yes,
My name
yes,
is
I'm familiar with the chalice.
Sahara. My name is Sahara. I'm an elf, and I'd be a great member of your party. I can cook, I can clean, and I can keep everybody entertained. And I know how to throw daggers, and I know how to shoot short bows. And I can use a rapier, although I was trained on a boat, so I don't know if that's really a good idea to have me stabbing people with a rapier while on dry land. Um, but um, but mostly my weapon is my viola here.
And he looks
I
at the weapon,
I
looking
know it
for.
kind of sounds weird, but you know you have wizards who can cast spells by speaking. I cast spells by playing my music instrument and the singing.
Oh yes, I believe they call them bards.
You know, I
Well,
think my trainer called it that. Yeah.
well,
Oh, when are
it
we gonna
seems
go?
that your
I'm
talents
more
are.
than happy to join. What was your name?
You may call me Amanamsu. I'm actually from this city here, and I would be glad to have you on board.
Okay. Um, with with my sister training me and everything and like that as we were traveling, I really never really learned how to pronounce people's names. So if I get your name wrong, would you forgive me? And I blink my I bat my eyelashes at you.
Eminence is a little bit taken aback. That shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, good.
Instantly kicked from party. Get out of here.
Yeah.
User has left the panel.
Well, we really need another person, so
Yeah.
she'll have to do.
I'm gonna grab my viola and my backpack that's on the floor,
Um,
and I'll follow you. I'll
okay.
watch your back.
Awesome. This way, and he'll take him back over to
Yeah.
the table.
Absolutely. And while the two of you are meeting, we move across the library a bit of a distance to where Nahamura is also looking for individuals who are alone and could perhaps be of use. Talking to the people you come across, Nahamura, a lot of people that you find at first are actively part of other adventuring groups, but are just sort of on their own, sort of as like the group's researcher, while the rest of their group is out making sure they have the correct preparations done. These people are doing the final sort of checks for what it is that they might need to be prepared for. You come across a couple different groups, the Crypt Finders, the Dog Soldiers, the Scorched Hand. It is on your probably fifth or sixth person that you talk to that you find yet another sole individual currently not seated at any of the tables or anything, but perusing these scrolls on one of the shelves. Taking a quick look at the shelf, Usala, what type of books might you be perusing right now?
Ancient Pharaoh genealogy records.
Fantastic. It's a set of very old books and tomes. The records from pre-Kellish rule are never entirely trustworthy. And I imagine you are looking for information specifically related to your problem, correct?
Yes.
Go ahead and give me that genealogy lore roll.
I forgot I had that button. That's a fun button.
Trying to let everyone get a lore roll off right off the bat so then I can never do it again. Nice and simple.
That's supposed to be secret.
Nope, this can be public.
Oh, okay.
Can y'all stop rolling well, please?
No.
All right. This is a hard one. Even with a good roll like that, Usala, you are looking for very specific information that is thousands of years old, and even you don't really have many records to go off of, just word of mouth from the stories passed down in your family. Taking a look through these scrolls and tomes here, you've probably been at it for the last few days. You probably have a decent idea at this point of the pharaonic line, at least what was written down and of note during the final decades of Osirion's rule before the Kellish took power, but you've got a bunch of names and like dates of birth and death and when they ruled, but that's not much to go off of in regards to your problem. You'd need biographies, and that's under the assumption the pharaoh was responsible. If it was something else, you're going to need to delve deeper. You're probably going to need a bigger and older library than Wati's here. Wati has collected a lot in the past 2,000 years it's been around, but you're probably going to need to head to somewhere like Sothis, the capital, or find a way to get access to more restricted archives in other places in order to truly examine for the information you're looking for.
Well, I'm sure a successful tomb raider would be popular enough to get some favors.
Surely. But as you are having that thought and someone is about to approach you, would you first please describe your character to us?
Just a snake-headed man. A little short, but not dwarf-sized. Fairly hunched over, as if his scales are too heavy for him. And scales also seem thicker, like almost iron, compared to like what a lizard would appear.
Right. And Nahamura, you notice this individual alone, perusing the shelves like so many other, but just in case, I believe you would probably approach them at this point. How you would like to approach this individual, though, is entirely up to you.
So I'll walk up and kind of clear my throat a little bit. If there's no response, a little bit louder.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt your studies. I've been told you are looking to enter the necropolis.
I have yet to find a group of relevant size.
Me and another are looking for people. He is somewhere in here trying to find somebody.
Seekers of knowledge as well. You do seem like the kind of people I would like to group with, not some ignorant brute.
Yeah, I don't know about my associate, but I do have not requirements, but I do like to know the strengths of the people I'm going out with. What could you lend to a party out in the dangerous environment of the necropolis?
What's the Pathfinder equivalent of the weave, Mr. GM?
Uh, there isn't really like an origin point of all magic. I typically refer to raw magical essence as ether in my Pathfinder games,
Hmm.
which does still, of course, travel along ley lines. Those do certainly exist and are used as conduits for magic. But there's no, like, big blob of ether in the center of the planet.
I will levitate out my stone and let it just orbit my head. I am a weaver of magic.
Interesting.
The arcane forces bend themselves to my will.
I think we will get along just fine. If you are willing and capable, you can finish your studies, and we have a table um, on the other side of the library here. You could grab what you want and join us, or finish what you're doing and meet us over there.
I believe I found all here that I could hope to find.
All right. Well, let's go see if my associate has had any luck finding anybody.
All right. Overall, looking around, talking to people, trying to find people, took about an hour and a half of your guys' time, bringing us to a little after 1 p.m. as the four of you come together back in the small reading nook that Nahamara was the first to arrive at this morning, but The four of you come together around a pair of tables. There's still a stack of books that the pair of you, Nahmara and Amenemsu, were reading earlier. Jetapet is sort of like hunched over, picking a few of them up as you return. Oh, I'm sorry, were you not finished with these? I was on my way to return them.
Amenemsu would be looking for the golden mask just to be sure that it's still there.
It's like top of the pile in his arms right now.
Yes. I would hold on to this one. But
Ah,
yes, the rest I'm done with.
of
Thank you.
course.
I'm all done with mine as well.
Wonderful. Then I will begin taking these back to their places. Was there anything else I could assist you all with finding today?
Is this with the group that I've gotten back with?
Yes, all four of you are now just come together.
I'd like to borrow this one.
Borrow as in remove from the archive or continue to research here?
Remove from the archive, if that's allowed. Or could I have parts of it transcribed?
I can certainly work on a transcription for you. Original copies are meant to remain here, but I would be happy for a small fee to transcribe segments for you.
You put it on my tab.
Go ahead and
It's
give me a diplomacy check,
I'm
Usala.
a bit strapped for coin at the moment.
Being a relatively new person here, if a librarian will accept a tab.
hmm
He gives you an enterprising look. He may be old. He may be like stooped in the back and look like he's gonna fall over to a stiff breeze, but
So do I, to be fair.
to be fair, different reasons. You would still immediately recognize the spell book at his hip and note that he is likely similar to you, a caster of the arcane arts. But well, I'm certain you will have treasures after your forays into the necropolis, so I shall await payment with the transcriptions in hand then.
And I'm certain we will meet again.
He will begin to slowly wander off, a stack of like tomes in his arms that absolutely goes above his head. Certainly not able to see right now, but knows the library so perfectly that he doesn't need sight to maneuver.
Obviously not a wizard because he can carry a lot of stuff.
He's a strong wizard. He
They're
dumped
both.
primary stat intelligence, secondary stat strength. Who needs wisdom or anything like that?
The opposite of what I did.
Exactly. But all four of you have come together around this table. It's a little after 1 p.m. You will need to put in effectively an application with the Grand Mausoleum before the lottery occurs later today, but you've got a little bit of time if you have anything you would like to do beforehand.
Amenemsu, being the book nerd he is, already has an application now and is starting to fill it out. All right. If everyone can give me your names and proper spelling, I'll get it all written out here. Yes, Nahamra Safu, got it. Sahara, okay, got it.
Sara.
Oh, okay. Right.
Seems you have an extra syllable on there.
What would you say your name was?
My
Usala.
name is. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to somebody. I thought you were talking to me.
Usala.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
my name is Sahara, but in Elven it's spelled Sara because elves, I guess, don't believe in putting extra letters in like the Taldane people do,
That makes
and saying
sense.
they're silent. I've always wondered if the Chaldean language did that on purpose, but everybody wants me to read to find these things out, and reading is so boring.
It's
Minus
even,
1 reputation point.
it's even
Yeah, so-
funnier that Sahara is the only one here who speaks Elven.
That's fun. I like the what's it? The anti. I just lost the word.
The anti-silent
Yeah,
syllable?
yes, the anti-silent letter. It's reversed. The
Yep.
letter's just not there, but it still makes the sound. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
The invisible letter, I guess they call it.
Okay. The only space I don't have a answer for is a team name. I guess being new, do any of you have a enterprising name that we could add for ourselves?
The Wanderers of Necropolis?
The crocodile's teeth.
The Boat
Crocodile's
People?
tears. Second hand.
If you guys would like to think on it more and just leave it blank for now, you can see
Yeah.
how that goes.
I think we need to determine this now.
Well, there's 4 of us, so the 4 Wanderers?
This would be really interesting if we ever add on another.
Well,
Hmm.
we can always say that we can't count. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of names, but my God, everything that all the good names were already taken in history.
To go off of Musala's mention of crocodile, most of you, I'm going to say, right off rip, Amenemsu, you would know this living here in Wati, that there is a rare breed of white crocodiles
Oh yeah.
that are sacred to specifically Wati's Pharasman church that do live in the city. So there could be a connection there.
The albino scales.
How about the Blitz Brigade? Will be the BBs.
Hmm.
It's got to be something good because we're stuck with it for the rest of our lives.
This is the real tough part. Coming up with
Yeah,
a
it
group
is.
name. And I just realized this entire time I forgot to turn on the music, so check your volume in Foundry real quick. Make sure it's not max volume so you don't lose your ears here real quick. But we are going to go ahead and get some music playing. So that way we're not here in just complete and utter silence while y'all think of a name.
Do 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 do. Mm, 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 mm.
I mean, if anything, you've got that book in front of you right now called The Golden Mask. Maybe there's something there.
Mm. Failed
I don't-
masters.
I don't know too much about anybody here, but I assume that everybody is either really acting on their best behavior or faking it quite well. But since we don't know what we're getting into, we can always call ourselves the Silver Masks.
That stands out.
I'm partial to that. I think that's pretty good.
Acceptable.
All right, is that what we're going with until we inevitably change it and rush to the Grand Mausoleum to ask to change the group name? Go with the Silver Masks?
That's good for me.
And
Yeah,
you don't want to spell that in Elven, so you'll probably want to use Taldane or Osari, because it doesn't spell very well in Elven.
All right. Well, you are able to fill out that last segment on your document, and it will simply need to be taken to the mausoleum at this point. So, certainly have more than enough time to get it there. So, is there anything else you guys would like to do here at the archive? Is there anything you would like to go out and do in the city before the lottery itself?
Nope.
You guys make my life so easy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are you guys heading as a group to drop the form off, or are you just letting Amanem Su sort of drop it off as you guys head out to do your own thing?
I'm following Eminem Sue.
I would be going with him as well.
All right.
Yeah, might as well go together.
I'm afraid they'll leave me behind.
We only need 3. I mean,
No fewer than 3. Nahamura, would you say it's safe to believe you would have gone to the Grand Mausoleum since arrival in Wati, or would this be your first time going?
I think he would have gone there first when he first entered the city, being
Sure.
a follower of Pharasma, hearing all the stories of the Grand Mausoleum. I think he would want to see it firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely gorgeous structure. It's pale limestone with a mosaic of tile on the exterior that depicts the River of Souls, with 8 columns lining the entrance, each of them etched with prayers for the departed in different common languages. The Elven one is notoriously shorter than the rest because of the lacking syllables. But you all are welcome to head on in past the bronze doors into the large entry hall and sort of find off to the side where there's a small wooden table set up with these 2 large urns on it and a pair of acolytes that are seemingly set up. There's a little placard on top the edge of the table that reads lottery entry forms here. There's like 2 piles, one for picking up an empty form and one, it seems, for placing a completed form.
having been here, Amenem Su would go straight up and hand in his application for the group.
Wonderful. As you go forth, put it down, one of the acolytes looks up at you. Completed form.
Yes.
Put it there. On the pile.
Yep. Yes. Right here.
Wonderful. And it is just the four of you? You just put it on the pile, but the acolyte will immediately like pick up the document and start going through it. All right.
Yes, the four of us here.
Wonderful.
This is my group.
And, the silver masks, write that on a token. They'll say that to the other acolyte, who will immediately pull out like a small wooden token and begin painting the hieroglyphs for the silver masks atop it before dropping it into one of the large urns. Is there anything else you need?
Nope. Yes, I believe we're all good. Yes.
Could you tell me how many groups have registered so far?
How many groups have registered? They just like look down at the stack of forms. Somewhere in the realm of 4 dozen at this point.
Oh, we have good odds then.
When they wrote down our team name on the token, did they put the token somewhere?
Yeah, they dropped it into one of the 2 large urns on the table.
Oh, well, that's no fun. We can't steal the papers.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah, like there's a little stack of the actual completed forms, and after looking over yours, they put yours on the very top of it. So you could feasibly just grab those and take them if you wanted. But then it seems for the lottery itself, they were putting like group names on actual tokens, and they'll be probably drawing them from that urn. So there's no real way to just remove people from the lottery unless you steal that urn itself. In which case you're out of it too, so.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
Not that good yet.
True.
All right. Well, that being said, if no one else has anything they would like to do leading up to it, I suppose we could jump directly to the evening when the lottery is set to occur. If no one has any issues with that.
Team building exercises. Let's do trust falls, everybody.
Oh, that'll go well. Got a bunch of no-strength spellcasters here, and a rogue.
I'll be right back.
Alrighty. And as Usala just showed, just as a general thing for everyone, you should see a little teacup button in purple on the left side of Foundry. If you need to step away, you can feel free to just click that button. Puts a little message in chat and a little icon next to your name so I know you're gone. And then you just click that again when you come back. So I know who is at the table at any given time. But let's see. If there's truly nothing else, then we can indeed head directly to the opening ceremony and the lottery. As the sun begins to set over Wati, bringing with it a bit of cooler air as the heat of the day dies down, we find all of you arriving at the Sunburst Market, the sort of central area of the Midwife District where most of the trade takes place in the city of Wati. You, of course, have the Grand Mausoleum itself, the Golden Lake, and the Sanctum of Silver and Gold, which is the temple to Abadar here. Specifically, we would actually be on the southern end of the Golden Lake between it and the Grand Mausoleum as we approach the evening period. Even as we approach the end of the day, there is a relative hustle and bustle around. The market stalls have not shut down, even though we have passed dinner time when most people would be ending for the day, as excitement builds. adventurers from every corner of the inner sea have gathered here in Wati for the opening of the grand necropolis for excavation. Surrounding these, group of participants, which by this point there's probably around, I'd say 150 to 200 adventurers. It seems primarily they are moving in groups of 3 or 4, as opposed to larger groups of 5 or 6. Those are fewer and far between that you see. But the people of Wati are surrounding these adventurers, sort of gawking at them, taking a look, talking to themselves, and even attempting to hawk their wares to anyone who is still looking for things. There's this festival-like quality in the air, almost. There's refreshments being sold, as well as like last-minute adventuring supplies for anyone who's looking at it. You probably see at least 4 different people who are hawking elixirs of life on the side of the street, and the color is absolutely not the color of an elixir of life as far as you are aware. These vendors come out at this moment probably not the best to purchase anything from. You'd be better off finding specific stores or stalls during the day to go to. On the other hand, though, there are a number of people already sort of shouting, grabbing people's hands, handing out the equivalent of business cards, and advertising that they will purchase any recovered treasures and antiquities at their establishments for those of you going into the necropolis. In front,
I'm gonna make sure I grab a. I'm
yes.
gonna make sure I grab a couple of those cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and we'll actually just leave this up to a flat roll of the dice. Roll a d20 for me. Can y'all stop rolling well, please? Please? Make me happy.
I'll roll poorly during combat.
Fair enough. Okay. Are you taking a look at them right now, or just grabbing the cards from people?
I am just grabbing them and putting them away, because looking at them will require me to read them.
Fair enough. They'll find their way into someone else's pack who will enjoy reading them, I'm sure.
I'll eventually read them, I swear.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. As the sun begins to set beyond the horizon, glistening atop the waters of the Sphinx River, the Grand Mausoleum's front has been transformed slightly for this event. There's an immense awning that has been erected between those 8 decorated pillars, providing shade for the priests of Pharasma who are going to be overseeing the lottery. There is an elevated table a few feet above the ground on a wooden stage, atop which sits those 2 urns you saw within the Grand Mausoleum earlier today. At the table, you see 3 individuals. The 2 acolytes that you didn't get the names of but came across earlier, as well as who most of you would immediately recognize as the High Priestess of Pharasma, who goes by the name Sebti the Crocodile. She is a human female who looks quite young, actually, for the position she holds. She's clad in a robe of black and deep blue, embroidered with silver funerary symbols, as well as a number of teal and silver bits of jewelry on her person. But she currently sort of sits at the center of the table between the 2 urns as people are amassing in the crowd, talking with one another. Many of the adventuring groups are sort of keeping to themselves, which gives you a great little look at how these groups are spread out and separated, but there are a number that are talking to one another as well and spreading some information, perhaps. You guys would seemingly have a little bit of time here before the lottery itself starts if you have anything you would like to do in this small period of waiting.
Amenemsu would like to maybe do a society check to see what the local banter would have been in the Tooth and Hookah, anything that he can remember or
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
to.
Go ahead and give me a recall knowledge roll, actually.
Okay.
Which, for those of you who are unaware, you should have the basic action macros on your hotbar in the 2 slot, and if you're selected on your token and use that, there is a recall knowledge button in there. And that'll just roll it in chat for me. You won't be able to see it, but it'll roll once and show me every relevant skill, which makes my life a lot easier. So let's see. Taking a look, thinking back on your last shift in the Tooth and Hookah, listening into the conversations of some of the adventurers there. Yeah. There was a lot of excitement the previous night when people were drinking and getting ready for the lottery. There was a lot of people who were super excited and hoping that they would be given a tomb specifically. The necropolis, of course, is all manner of buildings. It is effectively a city in and of itself, with treasures to be found no matter where you go, but everyone has that sort of internal thought process that a tomb is where the best treasures are going to be held. So everyone wants to get one, but the few people you heard who talked about trying to specifically purchase the rights to a tomb or some other area were all denied. It seems, from what you were able to hear, the Grand Mausoleum is truly doing their best to remain impartial throughout this and leave it entirely up to chance who gets what location.
The Hera is just going to keep gathering business cards.
Fantastic.
Probably accidentally grabbing 2 or 3 duplicates.
Oh, absolutely. Every now and then you see a group of adventurers who are like looking through their business cards and almost looks like they're being handed to you. So just grab one from them.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Anything for you, Nahamura?
Yeah, he wants to kind of walk around the groups nearby and look for different holy symbols, look for, just to see what kind of followers of different deities we have going into the
absolutely.
necropolis.
Go ahead and give me a perception check. Blind, please.
Is that blind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perception, deception, and stealth rolls should pretty much always be blind, unless I specifically state otherwise. Can y'all knock it off with the good rolls, please? Someone roll poorly.
No.
You're making my life so much harder. And by that I mean easier, actually. Taking a general look around, trying to clock the holy symbols on other people. Interestingly enough, you notice a omission of Pharasman holy symbols. There are very few people with them. You instead more so see a prominence of Abadar and Nethys holy symbols on people. Even a few holy symbols of Callistria. Which, if you need a quick primer on those deities, I am happy to provide.
Okay, yeah, I would I know what? I mean, I'm pretty sure with Nethys is the like the scorched hand and everything, right? It's the
God of magic.
Yeah, Nethys is the god of magic, who was the original patron deity of Osirion as a whole. You do see like holy symbols of him sprinkled around, notably that scorched hand adventuring group. All of them have holy symbols of Nethys.
Okay. And Abada is the one that won't do any healing unless they get paid. Is that correct?
That is a
God
way
of
of
money.
putting it, yeah. He is a god of law, as well as a god of wealth. He's the tax god, I like to describe him as.
Alright, and I am afraid I don't know anything of Callistria.
You don't know about Callistria?
Yeah,
That's
Callister is
just
an
fine.
interesting one.
I do not know that one at all.
Callistria is the goddess of lust, revenge, and trickery. A very odd choice to be seeing around here for this, but still somewhat prominent for some reason.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so he'll just kind of walk around and see the different holy symbols, and if there's somebody nods or waves at him, he'll go a polite nod, and just do a circle around and then meet back with the group.
Fantastic. And Usala, you stepped away. We are currently in that last little period right
I can
before.
hear you.
Oh, perfect. Is there anything you would have liked to do during this little waiting period?
Just observing the other groups.
Sure.
Out of the competition a little bit.
Fair enough. Did you want to give a perception check to see if there's anything you can specifically scope out, or are you just generally
Sure.
observing?
Find that there it is.
Oh, that's a lovely +3 to perception you got there, bud.
You're welcome.
Taking a general look around, you don't know names of these adventuring groups necessarily, but you do clock that there are probably 8 other groups in total that seem the best armed, who have like full sets of armor, cleaned weapons, or like staves. You see a wand occasionally across them. A vast majority of the groups don't actually seem particularly well prepared. Piecemeal armor and equipment. You clock most of the people here as first timers looking for treasure, hoping to strike it rich. There are few groups who appear the most prepared, but you clock roughly 8 of them.
How many names get, or how many teams get pulled? Is it just the one for this one tomb, or are we gonna pull a couple and send us out?
Give me a recall knowledge to see what you know about how this lottery system is going to work. Anyone who would like to do that roll may do so.
That's the fancy button, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Is that a recall knowledge, you said?
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed.
I don't. Oh, there it is.
It's in your basic action macros.
Yeah. I was looking in column 3.
Alrighty. Yeah. Nahamura and Usala, the two of you would know this best. The lottery is divided in such a way that each adventuring group is going to receive one location to start. It's relatively small. Locations within the necropolis have effectively been broken down into 3 different groups based off of their size. Any adventuring group that finishes their first exploration can return to the Grand Mausoleum and receive a second location that'll be a bit bigger, likely more treasure, but perhaps more dangerous as well. And then if they finish that second location, we'll get a third location. So every group will have a maximum of 3 locations. Clocking a lot of these adventuring groups, you're really not sure. You guess maybe 24 would finish their first location without any major injuries or losses. Probably only those like 8 groups you clocked would be capable of finishing their second and perhaps third locations as well.
How do I clock our group in that estimation?
You would be group number 9. You haven't really seen your group in combat like these people, but your group does appear to be relatively well equipped, I'd say. I believe, at least, well, Sahara has an instrument. I believe Aminemsu, you just have a cane, right?
Yep.
That is visible. And Nahamura, I suppose you have a mace visible and some armor as
Yes.
well. So you've got a variety of weapons, and most people do appear to have armor that could make use of it. So you'd probably put this group in the more competent of the piecemeal groups for now. You don't look particularly cohesive like some of those other groups look. Let's put it that way.
Well, he only just met today.
Exactly. Your opinion can, of course, change. But, let's see. As you all finish up your observations, conversations, gathering of cards, and return back to your little area in the large crowd, most of the conversation begins to die down as the sun mostly finishes setting beyond the horizon, leaving the entire area just shrouded in torchlight at this point. Sebti the crocodile, head priestess of Pharasma, stands up, steps forward towards the edge of the stage, reaches her hands out, and begins to invoke a prayer. Pharasma, Lady of Graves, Keeper of the Great Scales, hear our prayer. As the river flows ever onward, so too does the march of time, carrying the living towards their destined end. By your wisdom, the veil between life and death remains sacred. The souls of the departed find their rightful place beyond this world. We now come to walk the paths of those long gone, not as plunderers, but as seekers of wisdom. May the sands yield their secrets only to those who tread with reverence. May the dead remain undisturbed by hands unworthy, and may the echoes of the past serve as warnings, not as omens of doom. Let Pharasma's gaze fall upon us, weighing our deeds as surely as she weighs all souls. And should we falter, may her judgment be swift and her mercy earned. Let the lottery begin. Although many of you have requested specific sites to explore, we must leave these matters to fate. The Lady of Graves is a far better judge of destiny than we of this mortal sphere. The gates of the necropolis will open at sunrise tomorrow. Use this evening to prepare yourselves for the task ahead, and let these rules guide you in your endeavors. Remember how this came to pass. Every slave's hut is a memorial, and honor the departed. May you go with the lady's blessing. And Sebti will walk back to her seat as both of the acolytes stand up. When your group name is called, send a representative to step forward and receive your location. And one by one, they will begin calling up the names of the groups. Don't ask me for 40 names here. I did not write that many. I don't want to think of them now. But I'd say roughly 15 minutes in, the acolyte will fish one of the tokens out of the urn. The silver masks. Representative, step forward.
Nahama will start walking up, unless somebody wants to stop him and go up there.
Can all walk.
No complaints.
All right. As you make your way up to the stage, the acolyte will turn the token to you. Is this your group?
It is.
Wonderful. And one of the acolytes will fish another token out of the urn. Take a look at it. And you also see on the table laid out is a pretty large map of the necropolis proper. And they will point to a location on the far eastern end of it as they hand you the token. You have been granted the tomb of a man by the name Akentepi. You should find it right over here in the old city graveyard.
Did that have any relation to the book I was reading before?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunate. But not unexpected.
Do we need to map out the tomb as we go through it?
It is not required, but any mapping and knowledge you do have, the church will pay for as an additional reward for your efforts.
Thank you kindly. He will grab whatever is handed to him, and he will walk off and back to the group.
They hand you your group and the location token, such that if anyone confronts you about it, you can prove that you were given both. You also notice them marking down the location in a small book next to your group name. It does appear that they are keeping at least somewhat detailed records of this.
Are they shouting out the locations?
No, they are keeping quiet. They are
No?
only
Okay.
saying it to you
Okay.
when you approach.
So he will not say anything to the group till they get to a quieter location.
Yeah. Most of the groups who have had their names called left immediately. So the choice is up to you if you guys would like to remain here and watch the rest of the lottery, or if you would like to make for another location to go over what you know and plan.
So, have any of you got an
To the
inn,
library?
an inn available?
No.
Oh, I know of a great little inn.
Someplace close to the necropolis, so we don't have to get up early in the morning. I mean,
It
I'm
is
going to get
very
up early in
close.
the morning, but
Amanamsu would describe the Tooth and Hookah.
Which is position number 18 on the map as you are pinging, so pretty close to the necropolis entrance.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, that's real close. Yeah. Yeah.
Nema. Sorry, I don't pronounce names very well, but you were given the tokens. Can I suggest you hide them exceptionally well so nobody can pickpocket them from you?
I will keep a firm grip on them. I will make sure nobody gets them from us.
Are you specifically trying to hide them at all, Nahamura, or are you just going to be holding on to them?
I think he feels safer with them in his hands, but I feel like he would feel them easier being taken from his hands than from a pocket.
Fair enough.
So I think he's just gonna keep them in his hands.
Fair enough. All right. As you all... Oh, go ahead.
Because I can pretty much guarantee the groups that did not make it will be looking for the groups that did make it.
Well, every group is getting a location. Guaranteed. It's,
Okay.
yeah, everyone's getting one. It's more of a matter of
where?
Where. And the people who are able to complete their first location will be given a bigger and better location to go off of. That's going to be where there's going to be a lot fewer people and groups.
I thought it was a lottery of 50. There's 20 spaces for 50 people.
No, it is just pure random on what each group gets, but everyone who signed up gets a location. There would be problems if they were saying no to people effectively.
That's why I was being paranoid.
Yeah, still good to do so. As Amanemsu clocked off of your conversations, tombs are highly sought after locations. You guys got a tomb. So
I don't know what we got.
Nope.
He hasn't told us yet.
But we'll get to that soon enough as you guys make your way over to the Tooth and Hookah, a pretty interesting, fun location. It is a nice inn and hookah bar that also acts as a sort of small marketplace. There's a lot of space against the walls that people are able to set up little markets during the day to sell their own wares if they would like. There's also an open well in the center of the courtyard. Amanemsu, you would know that is where Toothy, the inn's mascot, lives, a tiny crocodile that lives in the well.
Aww.
And it is customary to say hello. But as you all make your way in, the tables are, at this point, pretty empty. Most of the adventurers probably aren't going to do a lot of drinking tonight, except the truly young and stupid ones, as most people are focused on preparations for the necropolis tomorrow. But the innkeep Fahan will notice you come in. Amanemsu, you here to pick up a shift? I don't think I had you on the schedule for today.
Actually, I bring some patrons. Perhaps we can find them a room.
Absolutely. Bring me patronage even on your off day. That's what I like about you. All right. Let's see. 3 others. Are you all looking for a room together or separate rooms?
Separate, please.
Separate can do. Fantastic. Let me see what I've got. I'll rummage around, pull out like a big, thick ledger book and flip it onto the counter real quick to start going through pages. Let's see. I've got 4 single rooms on the 5th floor that are all adjacent to one another, if those are workable for you.
That will work for me. I'm going to look at the innkeeper. This is going to be a bad question, but is he fat?
No, he's well-muscled.
Never trust skinny innkeepers.
I'd say he's burly. He's got good muscles on him at the moment. Middle-aged human man, short beard, like shaggy black hair on his head. Looks more like a blacksmith than an innkeep, I'd say. But all right.
Would it be reasonable to think to assume that Amanemsu would still be living with his family?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Then he will waive off his room. I could still save
3
a little
rooms adjacent to one another. Then. All right.
And how much is a room?
Well, you all are Amanemsu's friends? He raises an eyebrow as he says that. Looks to you, Amanemsu.
He would nod.
Friends. 2 silver a night, then. Bulk discount if you buy multiple nights, though.
I give him over 2 silver.
1 night it is for you. How about the others?
Do we know how long this lottery might last?
It's just so long, like, it's up until you finish all your investigations, really.
Okay. Well, I'll just do 1 night at a time then. if
All
that's
right.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one night for me as well.
What's your plan, Broke Snake?
I've got a tent.
Two rooms then? All right, fair enough. And he will pull out a pair of keys, hand them to Sahara and Nahamura. Are we doing dinner as well with the rooms, or just rooms?
Dinner, please.
Dinner? That'll be 6 copper for a meal. It's damn good food, that's why it's so expensive.
Nahama will ask for a dinner and a drink as well.
Drinks are included in that 6 copper price.
Alrighty.
So, if you would like a good meal here, that is an additional small cost. All right. 5th floor on the right as you take the stairs up, and food will be ready in about... Give me 15, 20 minutes.
Just to help establish character, the 5th floor is it got a window?
Yeah, I'd say it has a window.
Okay. I'm going to tie my rope to the bedpost, so if I pull on the rope, the bedpost will go up against the window and then stop. And I'm going to position the rope right next to the window in case I have to jump out in the middle of the night.
I see, so the bedpost would act as an anchor for you?
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. This building in total, I should also say, is 6 floors. It is one of the taller buildings in Wati. Most of the buildings range 2 to 6 floors in height. At least in
And
the
I assume
midwife
each
district.
floor is about 10 feet.
Yeah, it's average height for
And
a
a
building.
50-foot would be about 50 feet of rope will put me about 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah, you would be perfect with 50 feet of rope to get down.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's establishing character.
Cool. All right. You guys have a bit of time. Are you meeting in someone's room to go over the info you have? What? How are you sharing that with one another?
I think we should probably talk about what we're doing tomorrow.
But let's go up to one of our rooms.
You can come into my room and you can give me a hand moving some furniture around.
Madam Sue would raise an eyebrow at this.
Yeah, what are you doing with the furniture?
I'm just positioning it to protect myself.
A bit paranoid, are we?
I've stayed in many villages and many towns, and about I'd say 10% of them try to rob you in the middle of the night, especially the villages.
I guess we're moving furniture first.
It's not unstrange, actually, the amount of furniture you've had to move back to its original position on Menemsu after people leave. Though self-protection is not usually the reason people move furniture. But you guys move some of the stuff around to give you a better escape plan. You have your location that you are welcome to share, if you would like.
Yeah. So Nahama will kind of. Did he get a map of where it's at compared to where the gates are?
They pointed to where the location was on the large map. If you asked for a relative location map, they would have provided one.
Okay. So Nahama will pull out that map of the relative location and lay it on the table. Plasma provides. We've got a tomb. Our first site is across the necropolis, and he'll kind of point out where it's at. The tomb of some old man named Akentepe.
And I can specifically show you on the map where that location is now.
Oh yeah, that is quite a distance.
It's on the far side of the necropolis. And the map you were given is less a full map of the necropolis and more just like a walking path along the streets to get there.
Okay. Yep. So he will point out where it's at, and tell him the tomb of Akentepe. Does anybody has anybody heard this name? Or know anything about this man?
Well, let's see.
Let's get some recall knowledge rolls. Anyone who is interested in seeing if you recognize this name.
I seriously doubt I've ever heard of it, but you never know what my sister taught me.
The DC is quite high for this, I will say, as this is very specific and sort of esoteric knowledge. Yeah. Amenemsu, actually. You would have come across, you would have not specifically heard of this name, but simply by the fact that you live in Wati and have probably delved into this place's history with your time at the library more so than anyone else, you would have heard that name before. Specifically, Akentepe came up as the name of the leader of Wati's military prior to the Plague of Madness occurring. He passed away about little over a decade prior to the plague actively breaking out. But that would be pretty much the extent of the information that comes to mind on him.
So, looking at this necropolis, why don't we enter from the eastern gate? That looks like it'd be a lot faster, and we probably wouldn't have to put up with all the people trying to enter from the west gate.
You have to walk all the way around the whole city to get there, though.
Yeah, but do you really want to enter the same gate as everybody else who's armed and no civil patrol of any kind inside of that place?
I don't see a
I
group
would-
attacking another. Not if
I
they're
would
outnumbered,
assume-
but nothing.
And I would assume Pharasma would have some type of an eye on the adventuring parties. Maybe not, but since they're hosting the lottery, I would think they'd want to keep it as peaceful as possible.
I would say Nhamra and Amenemsu, you would both know for different reasons that there is a militant wing of the Grand Mausoleum called the Voices of the Spire that specifically exists to patrol and eradicate undead within the necropolis. They may or may not be doing things during the lottery period.
Would they be considered neutral to us if we encountered them inside?
Probably. As long as you're not an undead.
Don't think I am.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
I
yet.
can fix that.
Somebody's getting a dedication.
The Voices of the Spire are more interested in keeping the dead dead and not placing the living into the death. So I think we would be okay, since it is sanctioned by them after all.
Did they say anything about opening both entrances up, or are they only opening the one entrance?
I'd say they're opening up both entrances. So you would have your pick of which entrance you would like to go through. Whether you want to go through sort of the back alleys of Asp to get to the outside and go in through the exterior of the city, or if you want to go in with the... pretty much every adventurer is going to be going in through the western gates, you can surmise, so... be up to you whether you want to go in with them or try and separate and go in from the east. There's something to be said for standing out and doing different things than everyone else, though. Just keep in mind.
Yeah. I feel like it would be prudent to just take the path of least resistance and just head through the main gates over here. The back alleys could harbor their own difficulties.
I'll go with whatever you guys decide to do. I just thought I'd make a suggestion.
Suggestions are always welcome.
Says I don't want to get too friendly with our competition.
Don't? That's a shame. They want to get real friendly with you guys.
Hmm.
Aw.
So
so
friendly
sweet
is
of
to
them.
take you into a back alley.
Mm-hmm. And offer
Show
you
you
a good
art on
deal.
Yeah.
And show you
Look at all
art
these
on the
watches.
wall you can't see.
Only 5 gold a watch.
See this sun?
It's the best
See
price you'll
this
find.
sundial?
Pure obsidian. You won't find this anywhere else. All right. Does anyone else have anything they would like to do before heading to rest tonight? You've got a pretty early day tomorrow.
I want to go downstairs and I want to play my instrument and get money, but I don't want to be up until 3 o'clock in the morning because that's about when I would end up stopping.
Yeah, probably smart. It's probably around 8 p.m. by the time you guys finish up your conversations and the lottery and everything, so...
There is something I do want to ask.
Mhm.
One of the stories that I've heard was groups of people, when they come together, they should probably have some like whacked out code words to throw off anybody you're talking to, that says I'm completely lying here. So whatever I'm saying, we need to do the exact opposite. Some people call it the upside down cross, is like the danger signal, but what word would we want to use if we're basically in trouble and we need to do the exact opposite of what somebody says? What word should we put into this sentence?
Windy.
What is it?
Windy.
Windy?
Windig.
Windig.
No.
Did you
Wingdings.
say windy as in like WEN
Yes.
Y?
Like the wind.
Oh, windy. Like it's a little bit windy.
Yes.
Okay.
W-I-Y.
Preferably a word that's easy to fit into a sentence, but I won't accidentally be said in a sentence.
How about anything talking about weather? I can put weather into anything. Just don't do it accidentally.
I'm personally a big fan of meatball.
There's meatballs falling from the skies, everybody.
I think it's cloudy.
I just try to prepare for all eventualities because, 99% of the time those eventualities actually happen.
It is good to be prepared for that situation. I agree that we should have some type of sign or signal or word that would clue in the rest of the group.
Hmm. Well,
But with that, I think I'm gonna go to sleep now. It was nice meeting you, and I hope that we don't die together. It would be nice to plunder tombs and get money.
Look, I have to turn this into an undead campaign somehow.
Yeah.
Kill a few adventurers for that, so be it.
Yeah. There are worse things in life.
Like Unlife. Is there
Yeah.
anything else people would like to do before resting for the night?
Nahama will go down to the first floor,
Hmm?
just kind of poke around and see how busy it's gotten, see if there's
Yeah,
any other groups down here. Just kind of keep an eye on the surroundings, on what's going on around him.
sure. It is late evening into the night at this point. There are certainly a few adventurers who are up drinking. Um, Most all of them probably have holy symbols of Cade and Kayleen on them, so checks out. Mostly, though, it would be locals who have come here for a drink after the hecticness of the day before returning home to their families for the night. It's a pretty quiet atmosphere at this point. Most people are just sort of drinking, there's small conversation being had, but the excitement of the lottery today has wound down, and it seems more like right now is just what a general evening at the Tooth and Hookah would look like.
Is there music going on, or is it pretty quiet?
At this point in the evening, I'd say there's still music right now. Fahan has some, like, I always forget the name. He has recording rods that have songs already keyed to them that he is able to play and sort of fill the atmosphere with music. But he definitely has the volume lower on them at the moment. It seems like probably the busy period of the Tooth and Hookah is early to mid-afternoon up through dinner time, because that is when people will be drinking and eating and smoking, and then in the evening it turns into a more relaxed and quiet atmosphere.
So he will keep that in mind, so he can tell his new friend upstairs. He will order a drink,
Sure.
and then when he finishes his drink, he'll head back upstairs.
Fantastic.
So how much is the drink?
If you're just looking for something basic, we'll say 1 copper.
Oh, okay.
If you want something nice, it would cost a little more.
I'll throw him 3 and tell him to keep it.
Fantastic. Your next drink will probably be free. Usala, are you just... Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. I was just about to ask, Usala, are you just pitching a tent outside?
Yeah.
Fantastic. If it weren't for the fact that Amenemsu said you were a friend, you would absolutely be kicked out. Because it does not look good for business if a tent is just being pitched on the property's edge outside. But
I'm sure I'll have money tomorrow.
I'm sure. Had clocked that you guys were potentially going into the necropolis by how you all were dressed and prepared, and allows it for tonight at the very least. He might not be so kind and forgiving after a day. But, and Amenemsu, you are heading home to your family. What
Yeah.
family do you live with here in Wati?
Oh my. I think definitely his parents, his mother and father would still be alive. Maybe some siblings here and there. You'd be taking a slow walk home. Maybe taking a concerted gaze at the necropolis as he strolls amidst thoughts and contemplation.
Do you have dark vision, Aminemsu, or just low light vision?
Currently low light. At
Currently
level 5,
just
I'll have,
low light. Okay. Can you go ahead and give me a perception check, please?
It's not in there.
Okay. Under the light of the moon and the stars, as you are making your way back home and looking back at the necropolis in contemplation, for a brief moment, you spot what looks to be two, like specks of movement flying up over the walls, out of the necropolis and into the city proper.
Ooh. Which way were they going?
They were just heading generally west into the city. You saw them come up over the wall, probably around this area near the gate, and lost sight of them when they went down more towards like building street level.
Was it something large, like a humanoid, or something small, like
Small.
a raven?
Yeah, something probably around the size of a bird. A large bird. Say the distance you're at with that check, I don't know, maybe like basketball sized. Basketballs don't really exist, but you get it.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I'm gonna go check it out. See what this might be.
Okay. Fantastic. We're starting off with bad decisions. You people make me so happy.
Yay.
Let me see here. I'm going to ask for a survival roll at this point, and this is going to fall under tracking effectively, to see if you can figure out where these creatures went. Because you saw them fly over and then dive down completely out of sight. So to see if you can sort of find anything about them.
Public or blind?
Tracking is public.
Okay. Ooh.
Not a great roll.
No.
You are welcome to hero point it if you would like, but the DC for this is pretty high. It's not like there's tracks or anything being left.
Yeah, what the heck? Let's do it. Let's have fun. Nope.
I must have forgotten to turn that setting on. We are playing with Keeley's effectively, so if you roll below a 10 or a 10 or lower on your hero point, you get a plus 10 to the roll, so that should be a 19.
Whoa,
19.
that's new.
Yeah. There's no regaining of hero points. You get 3 at start of session, and that's all you have, but your hero points have a much higher chance of success.
It also makes it where it's really hard to... It's not nearly as daunting when you actually fail and re-roll with a hero point and get worse.
Right. Where...
Now, does the 3 reset every
yes,
every
you
session?
will go back up to 3 at the start of every session. And I will try and remember to do that automatically for people. I may forget, and you guys will have to max out your hero points yourself, but I'm typically pretty good at remembering that. Which automation is it? Goodness, I should have checked my settings again before starting today. Whoops. I'll figure that out in the break. We're going to take a few minutes. A 19 to track. Unfortunately, I don't think that is a success still. A very hard DC at level 1 is 20, unfortunately. Were there tracks you could actively follow, would have absolutely been a success, but trying to track 2 flying things in the darkness where you're relying on the torchlight along the streets to see anything and only being able to see a bit into the shadows that normal people wouldn't be able to see, you aren't going to find any trace of what those things might have been as you walk around and keep an eye on things.
Okay.
But
Then he will retrace his steps and head on home.
all right. You do know there were two things that left the necropolis.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Hmm.
but
Strange.
as you return home for the evening and all of you head to sleep for the night and rest up before your great tomb exploration adventure begins on the morrow, that is where we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So stand up, stretch, grab some water, do whatever you need to do, and we'll push for being back in 5-10 minutes or so. So, see you all then. All right, welcome back, everyone. So, that brings us to tomorrow morning, right around 6 a.m. as the sun rises. You all awaken, go about whatever your morning preparations are. Some of you preparing your magic for the day, others perhaps checking over your armor and weapons. And you know the gates of the necropolis are set to open soon, and people are going to be gathering to enter as soon as possible. So, did you all set a place to meet with one another?
I assume it's the end.
Yeah, Eminem Sue would head to the inn first thing in the morning.
Fantastic. Then yeah, you guys could absolutely meet there if you wanted. Fahad would do breakfast for the adventuring groups that are staying there, if you would like. He would have gotten up quite early, knowing that the necropolis would open at sunrise.
Sahara is yawning. She didn't sleep well last night. She was too excited about being able to go in, and now she's not going to be able to feel it because she's too tired because she didn't sleep.
What a mood. Thankfully, at least, you didn't have to make use of your escape rope.
Which is now back in my pack.
But are you all joining the masses who are going to be pushing through the gates the moment they open, or are you guys going to hang back, perhaps wait a little while before making your way into the necropolis?
I think the earlier we leave, the quicker we can get there, and in case you're in any troubles, we'll still have time to do some exploring today.
That and the fact that I'm excited. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I ate so fast that I'm going to probably make myself sick.
All right. Then as you all make your way into the necropolis, following along with the numerous groupings of adventurers all rushing in and immediately spreading out as they go, the very first thing you all see upon entering in this courtyard is a tall obelisk of stone. At the top, capped off with a strange black looking bit of stone that doesn't quite look like obsidian or onyx, but some other strange material. But the necropolis itself it's a place of dust. All of the buildings you see at first are sturdy stone constructions and could be mistaken for just a part of the city where people currently live. Apartments, estates, shops. If it weren't for the faded paint and the sand and dust piling up in the streets, the roads themselves are not easily visible anymore for all that has been blown into the necropolis and covered it. you all, as you begin heading towards the graveyard, more and more groups of adventurers splitting off of the marked paths that act as the streets still as they head to their own individual areas. I would like to get a gauge what everyone's exploration actions are. Are people searching, investigating? Are they detecting magic? What are you doing as you go?
I forgot to put up my exploration actions as a
Well,
quick token.
everyone is welcome to do so now as you think about what it is you would like to do. And a quick reminder for people who have not necessarily gone through my whole homebrew rules section, if you are investigating, along with making a recall knowledge about things you're coming across, you do get a free recall knowledge at the start of any combat against a enemy or creature or object you can sense. So it is a little more beneficial.
That's rough. Being the lead search, I guess, and also the
And getting that as a mastermind rogue for free is pretty good. Though
it is.
it actually doesn't benefit you very much unless you crit succeed, because it is a free action when initiative is rolled
Right.
that you get it, and mastermind only makes them off guard until the start of your turn. So unless you're going first, then you won't really get to benefit from that free recall knowledge for the off guard, at least. But I also believe you
will
are
probably
not the
be-
best perception in the party. You're tied for second best with most everyone.
What is the perception?
Search would be the action.
Yep.
Specifically, because it's very funny. Seek is the general perception action. Search is the exploration action to just be seeking. It's a little
I will
goofy.
go ahead and set myself as search.
Perfect.
And it's because I'm so wide-eyed and I'm looking around at all this money and all this wonderful, wonderful stuff that is, so I'm constantly looking around. And
Fair enough. And it does look like we've got Usala casting Detect Magic.
Detecting for traps or looking for that sort of thing would be a part of search as well.
That is
it?
correct,
Or
yes.
would that be scout?
Scout gives you guys a bonus to your initiative rolls if someone is scouting.
And I'll go ahead and search.
Sounds good. And we've got Nahamra covering tracks. I like that choice. Heading into the necropolis towards a tomb, trying to make it so others have a harder time potentially following you. Amanemsu and Sahara, let's go ahead and get those blind perception checks for you two, please, since you are searching. Alrighty, fantastic. And how I generally rule things, I will keep these in mind as your general rolls, and I'll let you know if you detect anything off of them. You guys are still welcome to, like, in a dungeon and whatnot, specifically search rooms for traps and treasure and say that you want to do that. I will let this roll to let you know, hey, you notice something, maybe you want to take a closer look.
Okay. I do have Trap Finder as one of my feats.
Perfect, and that gives you a bonus to searching for traps correctly. +1. Fantastic. You can generally turn that on if you would like when you make perception checks, just so I remember it, and I will know to just -1 if there's no traps that need to be checked against. Ooh, it also gives you a bonus to AC and saves against traps. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right. Well, as the four of you head into the necropolis, perhaps a bit unfortunately, everything is super new to you guys that while you're paying attention to your surroundings, you're perhaps not paying as good of attention as you normally would for things. There's so much new stimulus that you aren't exactly used to that you might not be the most perceptive at the moment. But as you all make your way through the streets and towards the eastern end of town, towards the marked tomb of Akhentepe, you find yourself breaking off of the main road into a more open area. The buildings become much sparser. Numerous dead trees fill the area. The building you are heading towards is a rectangular stone mausoleum, sitting pretty much alone at this point. Only about 20 by maybe about 30 feet in dimensions, 35 perhaps at the longest. As you approach, you are able to see a set of massive stone double doors on the northern side of the building, beneath a facade bearing the likeness of an Osirion man. Wind-blown sand is sort of heaped around the crypt, the doors themselves partially buried by this sand. And I will go ahead and bring us all to a brand new map as you guys approach. So, the choice of what to do is, from this point on, yours to make.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and check this door and see what I can find for traps or
Yeah.
otherwise.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me that new perception check for a closer examination. Okay. The doors themselves, about 10 feet tall, made of what looks to be solid stone, no visible handles or hinges. You don't see any tripwires or pressure plates buried in the sand as you begin to sweep it away to make the doors accessible. With that, you do notice that there are concealed hinges that would allow the doors to swing outward. You speak Ancient Osiriani, correct?
I do.
It is only Sahara who does not. There is text engraved on the door. The name Akhentepe, as well as the dates of birth and death for this individual. Born in 2416 AR, died in 2488 AR, which was right about 11 years before the Plague of Madness took the city. With that perception check, there is something that catches your attention about the doors. It's not a trap per se, but it is the mortar along the seams and jamb that would have been used to seal these doors appears to have crumbled or perhaps chipped away. The door was likely sealed and not intended to be opened again, but you notice signs of what looks to be crowbars having been used to, or at least inserted between the doors and chipped away at this mortar at some point.
Okay. I look back at the rest of the group, and there seems to be evidence that somebody else has been here. I can't exactly put a date to it, but this might have been open before we even came here. And he's gonna see about opening it, seeing if he can get the doors to open outward like they do.
It's going to take some time to clear all the sand away, unless you guys have some great way of doing it. You're looking at probably...
Man, I wish we had a shovel.
I was just going to say, if only we had a shovel.
If only.
Who's got the shovel?
The shovel's definitely going to help. It's still going to be like 30 minutes or so of hot and sweaty work to get these fully cleared out. But you guys...
I don't sweat at all.
Well, aren't you lucky?
Yes, I am. This is like mild weather to me.
Yeah.
Everyone was mostly smart enough to buy desert clothing as well, I noticed. But as you take some time, we'll say in the time it took you guys to get to the tomb entrance here and clearing out the sand brings you to maybe about 7 in the morning at this point. So you've still got the vast majority of the day ahead of you. There are no handles on the door with which to open it easily, so this is going to become an athletics check to try and pull it open. For anyone who would perhaps like to head that. Aid checks can, of course, be used, and I believe you have a crowbar, correct? Someone does?
I do if nobody else does. Nahama will step up and here's a crowbar to help if you would like.
Okay.
With the
I'm
crowbar
going
and
to
a
look
shovel.
at the door,
Yeah.
and I'm going to use my badly trained athletics to see to give a little aid to this.
Certainly. And that is a
Yeah.
fantastic aid there. That's going to be a +2 to you on the MSU.
So I'm not sure exactly what if this will work, but if you put the crowbar right here, I think it'll give you a really good pivot point.
Oh, that's great. I actually missed that. Thank you.
And
here we go.
a quick little thing for everyone when it comes to aiding each other. If you target the person you want to aid, go into your basic action macros, and it should be typically the third thing down that says aid, and then in parentheses PF2E macros. It'll let you choose the skill you want to use and automatically apply an aid effect to the target you're helping based off of what you roll. Makes it nice and simple.
+2.
Yes. A full crit success there is very good.
Yeah.
A 2 on the dice is not, though. Uh-oh.
My hand slipped. It's very sweaty out here.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. What's the crit fail effect on Force Open again?
Oh, no.
0 point.
0 point.
Yeah, if you leave that roll as is, it's going to make further attempts to open it harder.
He's never getting saved.
It didn't save it, but that has a +10 on it.
Yeah.
Which brings it to 18, which was the exact DC to open it with a crowbar. So... Phew. You take some time. Sahara gives great advice to you in where to set and leverage the crowbar, but even still at first, maybe didn't quite clear enough of the sand away as the door struggles to budge open. But after a good 5 minutes or so of putting your back into it, let's say, you do eventually pull the door open enough that you guys could pull it the rest of the way. And you are welcome to open the doors at this point. Just click on those
here
little
we
door
go.
icons.
Pew, pew.
All right.
And before I
Oh, yes.
trudge in, gonna go ahead and look through the space here.
Yeah, absolutely. As you pull the doors open, first thing you notice, there's no handles on the inside of the doors either. So definitely not really meant to be used as doors after they were shut. But taking a look around this room, I mean, it's a rectangular room. It's mostly empty. There's some engravings. There's some fixtures on the wall. There is an immense, and I mean massive, stone wheel against the southern wall. The air is stale. There's a layer of dust and sand covering the floor. All 4 of the walls in this room bear these, like, sunk relief engravings and hieroglyphics in them, with, like, small stone faces affixed to the walls at about shoulder height in each of the corners. There's also a large spiral engraved in the wheel to the south, which does appear to be set on, like, stone tracks in the floor and ceiling. And before any roll would be necessary, Nahamura, you immediately recognize that spiral on the wheel as the holy symbol of Pharasma.
He will take his finger in the air and kind of trace the symbol, kind of as a sign of respect, as a silent prayer, kind of, before he takes a step in.
Yeah, absolutely. Amenemsu, on a quick glance, you do not see any sign of traps or anything in the room that appears to be hidden.
Okay. He will take a step in.
Fantastic. Nothing kills you immediately.
Immediately. Yes.
The slow-acting aerial poison is coming next, but don't you worry.
The unnecessarily slow dipping mechanism.
Yes, of course. The pressure plate requires 4 medium creatures to step on it to activate. Why don't the rest of you come in?
You're slowly dying of oxygen poisoning. It'll take another 40 years.
We'll go ahead and take a look at this stone there, see if there's a opening mechanism to it, any traps, anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's about 10 feet in diameter. Taking a look from the side, about 6 inches wide. Are you trained in crafting, Amenemsu? You're a rogue, I'm assuming so.
The only thing I'm not trained in right now is performance.
Fantastic. You would be able to just quick estimate that stone wheel is probably in the realm of like 5,700 pounds. But with enough people here, you could probably push it. Hopefully. We're not particularly strong in this group.
No, we're not.
But it's a wheel. You don't see any traps or anything on it.
Okay.
So, while you're taking a look at that, what are the rest of you doing?
Detect magic.
There's no magic.
No.
I'm going to be looking at the wheel.
Absolutely.
And specifically, I'm going to look for a something that would allow the wheel to turn a little bit easier. Like a pivot point or a balance.
Yeah. You don't really notice anything like that immediately. It does look like the wheel is just sort of meant to move on the tracks. However, you do notice about 2 pythons hammered into the wheel on the side that look like they would make good like hand grips to hold. That could probably be used as good leverage.
We have a couple of handholds here. Anybody here got any I don't know, muscular strength?
No.
Recasters and rogue.
I think we have a +1 at best.
No.
I'm kind of an elf, and I mean I'm a female elf to begin with, so
I'll brace
I
it
can
with
lift.
A light bulk, yeah.
Yeah, I want you to look at the targets for telekinetic hand there, Usala, and think about it for a minute.
I mean, they can lift more than I can, so it's helping, I swear.
Nahamura, what are you doing in this chamber?
I think he is kind of walking around the exterior, around the walls of it, seeing if there's anything written on it, and he's taking notes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking notes of anything that sticks out, stuff to give to the church to the mausoleum later and everything.
Perfect. Go ahead and give me a recall knowledge roll here.
Oops. I did not mean to bump it twice, but I just
No
rolled it
worries. You know what's really funny? You rolled the exact same.
Consistent.
Yeah, taking a quick look around, beginning to jot some things down. I mean, the walls themselves, these carvings seem to generally depict the life of this Akintepi figure. He looks like he was perhaps a celebrated military commander who presided over Wati's troops for some time. There is text in the hieroglyphs. There is a warning that says, Akintepi's tomb is well defended. Those who defile it tempt the wrath of the gods. There's another line on another wall that says, the only thing the Lady of Graves despises more than a grave robber is an unsuccessful grave robber. With like a little line underneath it that just says, turn back while you can.
A little small print there.
Yeah, slightly smaller. With
Interesting.
that roll, you would also recognize that the faces in these two corners at about shoulder height are the Lady of Graves that it depicts. The other two, though, you do not recognize.
Okay.
They are more animalistic in nature.
This is before we go any further. There's a warning written here on the wall. Interesting, but I guess it makes sense to scare off. Well, us potentially. And then he'll read the warning out loud to everybody.
Well, you heard her, so I think we should keep it up here.
Time to
That's
leave.
empty.
Let's go ask for a new place. I'm sure that'll go well.
Really.
All right. I would say realistically, it will be hard, but if all four of you work together, you could possibly move the wheel. Possibly.
Teamwork.
By the way, Usala, because it's funny, your telekinetic hand lets you move one unattended object of light bulk or less. Do you want to take just a stab at what the bulk of this wheel is?
200.
That's funny.
Yeah, like 2,500 volt.
That's a bit much. It'd be somewhere in the range of 550 to 600.
Oh, that's close.
So, just get about 1,000 telekinetic hands working on it, and you'll be set.
There you go.
Rank 7 telekinetic hands, I add.
Yeah.
But, would you guys like to push the wheel to the side?
Yes.
Yes, let's attempt to push the wheel to the
We
side.
would love to.
Fantastic.
Oh, a pip.
You push the wheel to the side and reveal a slightly larger room, but one completely devoid of any markings or adornment. There is simply a square shaft in the center of the chamber that drops straight down into darkness. There's a faint, musty odor in the air, and you see a single python that has been hammered into the rock or stone at the northeast corner of the pit, with a dusty length of rope dangling from it into the shaft. You've got a torch. Fun thing about torches in Foundry, if you take one out of your backpack and set it to be in your hand, you'll get a toggle to turn the torch on and actually have some light on your token. You can also just cast the light cantrip. That works too.
I'll just cast the light cantrip.
That works too.
Cast it on the torch.
That way everybody looks at me, because I'm pretty.
There you go. But you have a pit. You have a rope dangling into the pit, and you have walked directly towards it. My pushing trap now activates. No such thing is here, of course. You all are able to approach the edge of the pit just fine.
How far down does the pit go?
Yeah. Taking a look. Let's see. I believe it actually extends beyond the light's range. Is there anyone in the group who has dark vision?
Bahama does.
Hamra, okay. You would be able to pretty easily see that it goes down about 60 feet then, into a chamber below. All of you also notice the rope only extends about 5 feet down before ending.
I have rope, but it only goes 50 feet, and I'm not sure if I would want to look at that pylon in the floor and make sure it's actually secure.
Does someone in the party have a climbing kit?
I don't believe so.
No, I have a rope. I don't think I bought a climbing kit though.
What a shame.
I have a rope.
I have catfall. So I could make it the last 10 feet if all right.
There you go. I mean, you guys...
Getting back up, though, that could be a fun part.
You all have lengths of about 50 feet of rope. You could pretty easily tie them together and use that to get down if you would like. If you wanted to investigate that python, Sahara, you are welcome to go ahead and give me a crafting check to see how well anchored it is.
Crafting check coming up.
Yep.
Public or?
Yeah, let's go public for this.
Oh, I made it blind.
I will reveal it for you. You got a 22.
Thanks.
Taking a look at it, both of you sort of taking some time to examine. The python does appear anchored pretty well. The rope that's attached to it currently thoroughly rotted. When you try and pick it up and move it, it begins to crumble in your hands. With that roll, Sahara, you are able to recognize where that rope extends about 5 feet down. It did not fray and fall apart. That rope was cut.
So they took something out of this and kept the people that were climbing the rope up from getting up so they could keep it all. I've got a whole story in my mind about this. There's honor among thieves, right?
But assassins traffic in deception.
So do I, but we won't go into the petty details of that. I'm going to pull the rope away, and I'm going to tie the rope to the pylon.
Yeah. You guys can pretty easily tie your own rope to it.
Yeah. And then I'm going to look at the other ones and say, anybody want to volunteer to go first, or shall I test my own knot?
Eminem Sue will take care of it. We'll go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perhaps somebody should go down there that can see in the dark if there's no light.
I have a torch.
Okay.
Well, who is going to be going down first then? It sounds like Amenemsu potentially.
Yep, Eminem Sue.
All right. As you make your way down, I'm not going to require a roll to climb right now, as you are not in any sort of circumstance that would make it perhaps more challenging, and you do have a rope to help you down. Make your way down, and the shaft itself actually ends at about the 50-foot mark. The chamber you enter is pretty much about the same size of the one up top, 10 feet vertical to the ceiling shaft. So if you didn't have a long enough rope, getting out would be nearly impossible, just because you'd have to do a 10-foot vertical leap to even reach a climbable wall, potentially. But as you land in this chamber, there are mirrored images of a warrior in side profile, facing inward on a pair of ornate stone doors to the west. The figure is wearing padded armor with a scarab-shaped shield on one arm that's facing the viewer, and a raised khopesh in the other, held aloft. The rest of the walls are all unadorned, but perhaps most importantly is the corpse. A crumbled body lies directly in front of the doors. There's a hint of decay hanging in the air. There's a dried stain marring the stone floor under the body.
I can't
That
handle
had to
it
have been a
anymore.
painful
I'm down.
Sorry? Oh, you head down.
I'll give him a call up. It's okay to come down.
Yeah.
Watch your step.
Almost activated the wrong map there. But I will bring you all into the tomb proper. There is a
Go ahead
corpse.
and check this.
Yeah.
Yeah, check this guy out.
Are you specifically looking at the body for anything interesting, or trying to figure out cause of death?
Looking for interesting. I haven't ran medicine check at all
Okay.
yet.
And
I'm
I will
pretty
say,
sure the
oh, go ahead.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the fall hastened the
Hastened the death? Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, just for general reference to everyone moving forward, please let me know what you want to do, and I will ask for a roll, because sometimes it might not be necessary. I will. I'll let you guys know if there's a roll to be had, and if you have one you'd specifically like to do, you are welcome to ask, of course. But just generally, I'd like to avoid just rolls being thrown into chat, because then I'm going to get confused over what's what. But taking a look over this corpse, it's easy enough to find things. Most of the stuff does appear rotted. The body's mostly skeletal at this point. There's a very thin layer of desiccated tissue still on it. But it does appear that some of the gear is still in decent shape. There are enough, like, pythons and a usable hammer that there is an actual climbing kit's worth of material in this guy's possession. So I will go ahead and throw that into the stash for you guys. His armor is these, like, thick overlapping layers of clothing with a knitted mesh sort of face wrapping attached to a hat. It's definitely decayed, but could be repaired to be made usable. It would act as a swarm suit, which is, I believe, unarmored technically, but it does give a bonus against swarms, specifically physical resistance to them. Perhaps most importantly is the stuff you cannot immediately identify. There's a pair of sealed ceramic jars with alchemical symbols engraved upon their sides in this figure's possession.
Somebody I used to know told me to pick up a alchemist toolkit. Did you say there were some alchemic chemicals here that could be identified?
There are symbols on those jars that denote the contents as alchemical in nature. So you could certainly, if you guys wanted to spend 10 minutes trying to identify them, you are welcome to do so.
Did you want to spend 10 minutes while you look at the doors and see what they are? See how easy the doors are to be opened?
That's fine. I'll go ahead and put the climbing kit into my equipment.
Yep. Any treasure I add in will be just directly added to the party stash, unless someone says they are specifically taking it. So you are welcome to grab that. And if you want to give me a perception check for the door, you may. Sahara, go ahead.
I will take the alchemical things over here. And if 10 minutes go by and we don't have any issues, then I'll try and identify them.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me effectively recall knowledge, because that'll have any skill necessary to identify in it, as you attempt to figure out what these are. And that is Sahara's first nat 20, I believe, of the campaign. Very nice.
No, I got one earlier.
Oh, you did. We've had multiple at this point. I forget. These are simple enough to identify and figure out. These are a pair of lesser alchemist fires. So, fun little alchemical bombs.
I think I like bombs.
It's not a good thing. But taking 10 minutes on the Nemsu as this identification is going on to, take a look over those doors. They don't appear to be trapped in any way. It does just look like it. These doors don't really have handles or anything, so it does require a little bit of force to push them open, but that's about it.
Okay. Is everyone ready to proceed?
I am.
Yep, I think so.
Just
All right,
gonna
onward to the tomb.
let me do that just in case.
Are you pivoting over to defending as an action, Usala, or are you continuing to detect magic?
Just when he opens the door.
Okay, perfect. Your worst nightmare, it's a hallway.
I am quaking in my boots.
Slightly, slightly wider than 10 feet, but with these bas relief carvings on both walls of these massive battles, armies with spears and shields clashing at the direction of generals, other leaders directing troops from various chariots that are ruthlessly overrunning their enemies. And there are, of course, a set of engraved stone double doors standing at the far end of the hallway that have a different carving than the one of the doors you just opened. Instead, it is an older man riding in a chariot, same scarab shield, as well as another figure, what looks to be a much younger version of the older man, also in the chariot with him, with a different blade than a Kopesh in hand, something that looks more like a falcata.
Okay.
But there is a hallway ahead of you.
And we will detect her unsavory mechanisms.
Fair enough. Darn it!
Amanatsu and Ursa, I can give you each a light source on you if you want it, so I don't have to be near you if you go around a corner or something weird like that.
Sure.
I'd offer it to Nem, but he can see in the dark.
Yeah.
I can have 4 of these light sources going at any one time.
Anyone who wants
really?
can grab that spell effect. They combined
I
dancing
will.
lights and the light cantrip in the remaster just into one thing. It's pretty nice.
Interesting.
Amanemsu, the first time it matters, your perception does well for you. As you do notice at the far end of the hallway, specifically these 2 tiles of the floor are one long, slightly raised part of the floor that denotes a pressure plate. You can also see very well hidden in the carvings on the northern wall small holes, which I will let you imagine what would be shot out of them when the plate is stepped upon.
Okay. He is going to come over here.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to attempt to disarm this trap.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me a thievery check. Do you have a fun way to try and disarm it? Or are you just trying to disarm it?
So, he is just essentially he's never done this before, so he's just gonna try and deconstruct it as best he can. So he's probably gonna fumble around with this toolkit that he got.
Fair enough.
Kind of the back alley.
And I would say if you wanted to warn everyone, Usala and Nahamura are in the line of fire right now. Anyone who is in this point to this point would be in the line of fire should you accidentally trigger the trap. So...
Going this way or this way?
They go north to south, but they are effectively all along this wall up here. So if you are in this room proper, you would be in the line of fire if the trap goes off. If you are in these little entrance and exit ways or in the other room, you would be safe.
Madame Sue is going to attempt to jump over this pressure plate here, and
that is easy enough to do.
Okay. Would you like a check for that? Or?
That would be just a normal leap, I believe, which I believe you can go 5 feet without a skill check on a leap.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do 10 feet horizontally on a normal leap with a running start, so you could easily clear that pressure plate.
Oops. Okay. He's going to jump there. It's like, okay, give me a second. Let me get this disarmed here. Okay. Thievery check. Here we go. Now, does the trap finder doesn't assist with this? It's
I
just
believe
finding.
it does give a plus. No, I believe you are correct. It only gives a bonus to finding and being damaged by them. It allows you to disable traps that require a higher proficiency rank than what you have as well. But with a 21, it is easy enough to find the sort of latch points of the pressure plate where it was locked down on this side and open up the plate like a lid so you can see the mechanism underneath and just very quickly with a blade sever the strings inside that would launch the darts when the plate is stepped down on, and you can just flip it shut when that's done so it looks like a normal floor again, but know that people could walk in here easily without triggering such a trap.
Okay. Do I have chalk? I do have some chalk. I'm going to go ahead and mark the top of that pressure plate.
Fantastic.
Just in case, yeah.
All right. But you all watch as pretty deftly Amanemsu manages to flip open, sever the trap, and just pull out chalk and mark it. Looks like a trained professional as he does this. And the trap is most certainly disabled.
Right. After that, he turns his attention to these doors. Gonna go ahead and pull out that brass ear.
Ooh, listen through
give it a little listen.
Sounds good.
And then after that,
perception check.
And
I'll put checking it for traps in the same role as listening through it.
Okay.
I'll just take a -1 from the trap finder added for when you're listening through it. Beyond the door, dare I say, silent as the grave. And of course, the door itself has nothing.
Okay. All right. Is it locked?
Nope. All the doors don't appear to be locked. They're just very heavy.
Okay.
So it takes a little bit of effort to push them open.
Throw my shoulder into it. Push these open.
Opening the door into this chamber, certainly an interesting location. There's a faded tapestry hanging on a wooden frame along the western wall. It's very faded. It's pretty delicate looking, probably from the passage of time. It depicts a middle-aged man accompanied by a woman and 2 children with a small estate in the background. There are a pair of pedestals on either side of this tapestry, upon which each sits a dead and preserved cat. And there are a set of double doors to the north and to the south. And these little bits in the corner appear to be sconces in the wall that torches could be set into.
Jumping over the pressure plate, I will join. Not that I
Fantastic.
don't trust him, it's just it's a pressure plate.
Better safe than sorry.
That's pretty
I'm
much
going
my
to
thought.
go ahead and check out this room.
Yeah. Taking a quick look around, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary on a quick glance around. It just appears to be an empty room aside from what has already been described and the multiple sets of doors.
How big was the tapestry, did you say?
The tapestry itself is probably about 8 feet square.
That's way too big to carry.
It's a bit big
I
to
need it.
carry. It also doesn't look particularly sturdy anymore. It's
Yeah,
sort
I
of like
need a
that
bag.
rope where it might crumble at touch.
A girl can dream.
Certainly can.
That sovereign's glue sprayed all over
Aerosol.
it.
Anyone who would like to, who is taking a look at this tapestry, may go ahead and give me a either ancient Osiriani lore or society check blind, depending on what you have.
I don't have society.
Sad.
You kind of have to be part of a society to have it.
That's fair.
Good point.
Alrighty, taking a look over this tapestry. Let's see. Fantastic. Nahamura, you are able to, taking a look over this, determine that this definitely appears to be Akintepe's family. However, based off of the depictions of them, there is a sadness in Akintepe's eyes, as well as the eyes of one of the children that denote likely some sort of tragedy befell this family. With the bit of writing on it, you're also able to read that it seems most of the family, at least the mother and, I want to say, daughter, were buried and interred elsewhere, and then this tomb was prepared much later.
Does Nahamu know if that is if that's normal?
That would only be normal if those people passed away long before Akintepe himself did. Before he was of standing enough to have a tomb like this prepared for him.
Okay. He'll point that out to everybody just so we're all on the same page.
You're also fairly certain those cats were Akintepe's pets, likely mummified so they could accompany their owner to the boneyard.
Okay.
Somebody had a cat. I've always wanted pets. Never been able to have one.
Yeah. It looks like they had two of them with them.
All right.
Taking care of Toothy, I don't think I wanted to have a pet.
You have a set of doors to the north and a set of doors to the south. Which way would we like to go?
Go ahead and check these doors.
Sure. I'm going to say no roll required, and when you open them, you'll
Okay.
probably understand why.
Okay. And opening.
Welcome to the Mummy's Mask Adventures path, everyone. Whoever they hired to make doors back in ancient Osirion made bank. you're going to find a lot of doors opening into small passageways to more doors. In this case, a set of steps leading down into another set of doors.
Looks like you'll be getting your money's worth. I'm in a suit.
It seems so. Check over the stairs.
No traps.
Sweet. Go down to the doors.
Mhm.
Check the doors.
They're doors.
They are doors. Okay. There we go.
A couple things when the doors open. First thing you notice, that big-ass chariot just sitting in the center of the chamber. Beyond it, there is a large canvas stretched between two columns, of which appears to be several animal skins, like antelopes, maybe some large cats, crocodiles, faded and deteriorated with age at this point, tacked onto it. There is a wooden chest in the corner, lacquered white, trimmed with gold inlay. There's also what I should say, these like torch sconces also look like small shields sculpted into sconces. There's a hallway to the east. There is also sort of behind the chariot in this corner. It's a little hard to get a quick glimpse on it. What appears to be another small pedestal upon which sits a glass case. Something strange because you don't normally see. Within that case is a blade. Relatively fine looking, I want to say. Clearly designed for combat. There is an obsidian stone inlay in the hilt and pommel, and streaks of white coloring through it. It's a dark wood handle as well. And it does look like the falcata that was in the depiction of the younger-looking Akentepe on the door.
Quick scan for traps or anything nefarious.
Give me that perception check. At a quick glance, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary. However, the chest itself in the corner looks like the construction is slightly off to you. The area around the lock appears slightly bulbous. There may be some contraption hidden within the lock by your estimate.
Huh. Okay. The game is paused. Is there something
My
else?
apologies. The main thing was the
No worries.
description, as well as the fact that for the first time, Usala's detect magic pings.
Hey. Is it this one?
Where is it pinging from?
Unfortunately, rank 1 detect magic simply tells you the presence of magic within 30 feet. It doesn't give you any detailed info.
Probably from the blade.
Yeah.
I mean, if I ignore the blade and cast it again.
If you ignore the blade and cast it again, you do not detect any magic.
Okay. I think Mahama could cast Street Aura as well, but that'll work.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madame Sue will take a closer look at this chest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's trapped checked or what?
Yeah, going off of your perception check from earlier, as you examine it a bit closer, sort of take a peek in through the lock, you can absolutely see there is what appears to be a small blade, sort of right around the lip of the chest, and you get the sense that if you tried to pick this chest open, the blade would slice outwards into your hand.
Okay. Does it appear to be something that would reset if it was triggered?
Probably not. It's probably a one-time use sort of thing. You don't
Okay.
see any, like, additional spring mechanism that would lock the blade back into place.
Okay,
knew
like
I
a
should have bought a
clockwork
hatchet.
reset, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He is going to try and tap it with the end of his cane. See if he can't get it to trigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me that thievery check.
Yeah.
Here's the good news. That's not a crit fail. So, which, funny enough, a crit failed thievery check to disable just triggers it. But
That
as
was the
you
intent.
tap on it with your cane, the blade does not move. It seems like the mechanism probably operates in the lock itself.
Okay.
Someone put effort
right.
into making this.
Yeah, they did, definitely. Okay.
While you're doing that
Alright,
real
well-
quick, what is everyone else
Yeah.
doing?
I want to look at this glass case with this weapon in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm examining it for magical traps.
Give me that perception check. Interestingly enough, now that you're over here, you can also see, like, against the wall, there is another, much simpler looking chest. It doesn't have, like, the fancy gold inlay the other one has. It's more so like a wooden crate, almost, than a full chest.
And I knew I should have bought a hatchet because the chest opens up quite well with a hatchet.
Taking a look at the glass display case, it's interesting. You can see hinges on one end, and even a small handle for this case to be opened. You don't sense the presence of any traps, magical or physical. However, the two of you taking a look around notice a number of small, like, nicks and dents in the walls of this room, as if, like, someone was scratching at the walls in various areas.
Range.
So, do you want to grab this weapon or?
Sure.
Are you opening the case and grabbing it, Usala?
No.
Usala is bent double, walking out of the room to let someone else do it.
You know,
Fantastic.
I'm so excited I'm going to do it.
And I won't run away. Uh-oh.
This is too exciting. This is almost fun.
The ominous pause.
I don't know about you, but I am very excited, as some of you may have noticed. We have an additional person in this game who has yet to describe their character. So, at this moment, as Sahara picks up the blade, our final member, would you please describe what happens?
Yeah. So picks up the blade and needs to make a will save.
Fantastic.
But let me.
Should this be blind or public?
All public.
I'll put. I think I can put the thing in the chat, right?
Absolutely, you should be able to. So there should be a button popping up that you'll be able to click.
Ooh.
I failed because I got a 14.
That is a failure. And fun little thing, you can just, Nebsu, in the future, click that little chat button next to the will, and it'll just put
Choosy
that.
about their partners.
Oh, okay.
So that way it won't put the entire ability in, it only puts the save. But go ahead. Sahara, you will take 4 force damage as you pick up this blade. And
Okay.
are you forcing her to drop you?
Yes.
Can I throw you instead?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna throw you across the room.
All right.
As your hand
What
is
direction?
Does it land near the chest?
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Sahara, as you open the display case, pick this blade out by the handle, all of a sudden, your hand is blasted open and backwards. The blade goes flying out of your hand, scattering, clattering across the floor, almost nicking your ankles, Amenemsu, as it lands right around here.
And then
Amenemsu was like, oh, well, I guess I could try that too. And he tries to pick it up.
Fantastic.
so
Just
you
what I
pick
need.
you pick up the sword, and it tries to do the same thing, but then it doesn't hurt you. And
It's worthy.
then, like, out of the obsidian inlay, like this black ooze starts to come out a little bit into like this square here, and the sand on the floor and the dust all starts going up into it as well, and then suddenly there's a dude standing there holding the sword that you just had. And he's like
I'm going to.
made. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna run into this corner and hide. That hurt.
And so yeah, he's like made of obsidian almost. He's not wearing anything right now. And he says, hmm, and like sand starts coming out of his, like, where his mouth is. Who are you?
Recall knowledge, real quick.
And that's in ancient Osirion.
As he speaks out in a language not commonly spoken anymore. Anyone who wants to make a recall knowledge at what they're seeing is welcome to do so. Amenemsu.
I used my good roll.
You are the only one who has an inkling of what's going on. You've heard of intelligent weapons before. And it doesn't always have to be a weapon, but items that are imbued with a consciousness. Whether that is a soul or not, up for debate. We don't want to get into that here. But the fact of the matter is, they are capable of thought, they're capable of speaking, and in very, very rare cases, they are capable of creating a body that can wield them. And it seems like you are looking at such a case right now.
I am Amenemsu, and I see you are much more than just some blade. That is good to meet you. How long have you been stuck down here?
That would depend on what year it is.
It is the year 4000. What is it?
4713.
Yeah.
Oh, 13. Damn, we went way back in time.
We are taking place in first edition timeline, not second edition timeline.
Yeah.
Hmm. And it's been over 2,000 years. And that would make you grave robbers.
No,
Hmm.
no, 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 no.
State-sanctioned tomb explorers. I would venture a more accurate portrayal. The current pharaoh has opened up the necropolis for exploration, and so tombs that were lost to the ages have been reopened. But you may still call us grave robbers.
Truthfully, that is neither here nor there. Whatever you are, you have come and are my means of escape now, so I suppose I will have to work with you.
I think we'll be better off to have your help.
I am Nepsu.
Nebsu, you may call me Amenemsu. This over here is my friend Nahamura Sefu. Also Usala, the state cat there, and the lady elf is Sahara.
I apologize for hurting you.
I'm bandaging my hand.
Just suddenly awaking to a room I expected to be dark, flooded with light.
I can turn off the lights if you want.
No, 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 I finally see things. When I awoke in here thousands of years ago, I tried to escape, but I couldn't see shit.
Would you like me to here
Oh, they'd have to be translating for you, I think.
oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yep.
Who's doing the translator job?
Amenemsu will be amenable to it. He'll take care of it. He'll also explain what he is as well.
Tell him I can give him light so he doesn't have to see in the dark.
I think you can see that.
Does he want that ability? I can give it to him in about 5 more minutes after I bandage my hand. In other words, after 10 minutes, I'm going to do a medicine check.
Yep, you've got treat wounds.
I have
I
a bardic
I-
spell called healing plaster.
There you
Okay.
go.
So
I will
I
gladly
definitely
take
could if you
her
could.
light.
That's a good one.
Yeah, healing plaster just treats as healer's toolkits. It's very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If you wanted to, Sahara, in your basic action macros, there is a treat wounds button. Just make sure you target yourself for the one getting
I will
treated.
aid her
Sure.
with medicine. So it's
Will you
target.
allow the sentient blade to help you bandage your wounds?
No, I'm probably terrified of him right now. That's
Then
why
I
I'm in
will
the corner
stop my approach.
I definitely could aid if you would like aid.
It's not in my basic it's in the basic macro action, but it's not on my hotbar.
It should just need to be in your basic action macros as a treat wounds option there. Should be near the end of the third column.
After, yep, there we go.
Yeah,
And roll.
please.
Hey ho, look at that. Nice 12 hit points
Yeah.
back. All right.
Like I said, I had to wait 10 minutes for that to work. Now,
Yeah. All right. So as you take some time to pull out a bit of dirt, whether that's just some of the sand on the floor in here or dirt you've brought in with you. You go ahead and use that to quickly apply a salve to your hand that heals the slight burns you got, and are able to grant some light to this strange, near obsidian figure. While that is going on, Usala and Nahamura, what are the pair of you doing?
Who was the one that understood what was happening here?
Amenemsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting the strange swordman.
Fair.
Nahama was in the process of looking at the chariot when that all took place.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous chariot. Taking a look over it.
Hasty whip, yo.
Yeah. I mean, it's big. It's probably going to be pretty damn challenging to get out of here, but you could feasibly take it apart at least and pull it out and then put it back together outside. It's probably by far the most valuable thing if you can do that, but would certainly require some effort.
That is way beyond the knowledge of me. I'm assuming that's crafting, right?
It would be crafting, yes.
Yeah. That's way beyond my knowledge.
All right, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Not good for much else in a fight, but I sure do know a lot.
In general, I'd say you're able to tell pretty quickly. The chariot, if you can get it out of here, is worth about 18 gold in modern times. Or I'm sorry, I think I have my numbers wrong. Give me half a moment.
81 gold. Did you have it backwards?
It's not worth 81. You are level 1.
Yeah, just got to divide by 5.
My apologies. The chariot
it
itself...
depends on how you sell it. I mean, that goes a long way.
The chariot itself is worth 15 gold. If you can get it out of here and put it back together, fully restored. If it suffers some damage in the process, that's going to diminish its value. The chest itself also has quite a bit of value. If
Glass
you...
case or
No, the trapped chest. If you can
okay.
open it without destroying it, the chest itself would also continue to have some value.
I'm giving Nemohatsu a aid.
Fantastic, yeah. Taking some time.
I targeted him and gave him aid.
That's perfect. The two of you would be more than welcome to take some time here, working together to attempt to take apart this chest. If you would like to
disassemble.
Yeah. And I will say, while the two of you are doing that, Usala, Nebsu, and Nahamura, if the two of you were to look to your east at all, you might get a slight idea of what can be seen beyond this space, since there are no more doors. There's a short hallway first, with 4 funerary masks hanging on the walls, staring down almost as if in judgment upon anyone who would be in the corridor. Beyond that, you see what appears to be maybe a trophy room of some sort. There's a table to the north that looks like it's got some sort of diorama on it. There are multiple shields on a display rack against the eastern wall, various weapons on another rack, and small chests and clay urns around the space as well.
Nepsu is going to be again awkwardly putting on his armor.
Yeah, that small chest next to the display case, has the rest of your equipment in it. With a 21 Amenemsu, that is absolutely a success. The pair of you working together are pretty easily able to disassemble the chariot in such a way that it's still big, bulky pieces, but you would at least be able to get it out of here at much less risk of it breaking.
Well done.
It would need to be put back together again when outside, but for now, first step done. Nice.
All the king's horses, all the king's men.
Make sure not to scratch my father's chariot.
And we'll take a look at this chest over here.
Yeah.
And see if we can disarm it.
Yeah, I'll give
Thievery.
you one more check to try and disarm this thing.
Does Nepsu just have the key to it?
Nebsu does not
Hmm.
have a key to this chest. No. This time, it's much easier to do so, and recognizing that the lock itself is the mechanism, it's pretty easy to like grab a python from your climbing set and just jam it into the lock a little bit. Not enough to damage it in any way, but enough that it would trigger, and the blade comes slicing out. But you're far enough away it does not touch you. Notably, you are able to see that the blade is slightly discolored. You would be able to tell there is a poison applied to this blade.
I'm really glad I didn't take it.
I'm so sad. You guys have noticed both of my traps so far. But at this point, you are able to fully open the chest. I will not require another roll to try and pick the lock at this point. Within it, on top of everything else, it is very obvious the 2 minor healing potions within the space. Those are easily recognizable in any day and age. Beneath those are a pair of books, each of them with these thin, gold-plated metal sheets for pages.
I like books.
Yeah.
Actually, Amenemsu would quickly open the books and peruse their contents.
Certainly. With a quick read through, you're able to tell that the first book appears to be a biography of Akentepe. The second one appears to be a list and description of various military campaigns conducted by Osirion between 2350 and 2450. They are heavy as fuck.
I would assume so. They're, you said gold leaf pages?
Yeah. Each book is about 25 pounds.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Bulk 2 per book, effectively.
Yeah.
But just think how much we can sell these for.
A decent amount.
30 silver.
Yeah. 15
Perhaps
silver
we could
total.
sell them to the library.
There's an idea.
I might be able to sell them for a little bit more. I can bat my eyelashes at somebody.
Or we could sell them to the library where they can be properly cared for.
I'd say I can bat my eyelashes at the librarian, but he seemed a little old.
And of course, there is the chest itself that you know has some value. If you wished to try and take that as well.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I'm sort of assuming, since you guys don't have a spacious pouch or anything, the things that have value you'll
Cataloged and
cataloging, maybe taking towards the entrance of this space, so you can take them out one by one as necessary.
Well,
Maybe pile them in the
I mean,
chest.
once we get it all put back together, we have a chariot.
Right. Once you get out of here, you'll have a great way to transport everything back into town.
Yeah.
Certainly not conspicuous at all.
With all of us holding on to one of the rungs of the chariot, we can be pulling it at about half a mile an hour.
Right. You
Because
guys
we
are
have
set.
so much strength.
Or while we're putting it back together, we could have somebody run off and get a horse or something.
No, that's a
Like
smart
we
thing
can
to
afford
do.
a horse.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Smart. Smart.
We don't do smart here.
So there's one more chamber that we have to check out.
Yes. Oh yeah, the other half of it.
Yeah, there's these like
I'll go
funerary masks on the wall, and then this another chamber that appears to have a bunch of equipment in it.
Do you want a perception check for that as well?
From here, no. Once you get a bit closer, perhaps. I'll also say those 4 funerary masks, you see gold on them. And they all appear to be different depictions of creatures. So,
We're gonna have a lot of
Okay.
good stuff out of here.
How much closer do you want me to get? for a
right there, I
perception
think
check?
I'll allow a perception check.
Okay. Alrighty, here we go.
Knock it the fuck off with your rolls. I swear. Why do you hate me so much?
I see everything.
So here's the interesting thing, right? Getting a bit closer look at this room. There's multiple chests, there's an urn, there's shields mounted on the wall. On this table is this 3-dimensional diorama. Sculpted landscape, tiny stone and wooden statues. It looks like it depicts an ancient battle between the city of Wati and some enemy, who cares? More importantly than any of that, or anything else in the room, is that diorama. Because as you're looking around, you notice that a few of those little wooden and stone statues are moving ever so slightly. You see hands tightening on spears, heads turning in your direction.
Guys, be on guard, but those little figurines are moving.
Also gonna say,
And he points
Usala,
over at this.
sorry. Usala, your detect magic is pinging right now.
I will let them know that.
Right.
Something magical here.
Nebsu, do you know anything about those little figurines?
I can recall knowledge.
Sure. You were not particularly conscious when this place was being built, but
Yeah, basically just Osirion lore to know
yeah,
of what they might be.
absolutely.
Basic actions. Recall knowledge. I do have ancient Osirion lore, obviously.
Oh, that is nice.
Those are good dice.
Cool dice.
Ancient Osirian lore doesn't matter a whole ton here. I'd say at best you're actually going to be able to tell what battle this diorama depicts. I don't have a specific name for you of it, but it would have been one of your father's campaigns after the rest of your family passed, but before you joined him in battle. Probably about a year before you joined him in battle would be when you recognize this. As for those little statues, unfortunately, that is not quite your area of expertise. The magical or mundane arts in that sort of sense when it comes to the construction of these sorts of things.
I don't know what they are. I think I was dead when they put me here.
Well, whatever they are, they seem to be following us with their gaze. We may have to destroy them.
Well,
I noticed that
Well-
he's walking forward.
Everyone's concerned. Wants to be the first into the room of the angry little statues.
Let's do this.
As you step forward into this room, and the tiny wooden and stone dolls begin to move more than just gripping their weapons and turning, actively running for the edge of the diorama and table, preparing to fling themselves from the table to attack. Four tiny little guys just here to play. That's where we're going to end off our session for today.
Oh no.
Thank you all so much for playing. I do hope you enjoyed. Next session, we are kicking things off immediately with initiative being rolled. So,
Well, I hope you enjoyed our massive rolls.
honestly, I'm befuddled because I am notorious for granting horrible luck to my players. So, how well you all rolled today is mildly concerning. How good is your luck normally, I must ask?
Pretty bad actually.
Yeah.
Ah, so they canceled out. I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our first session come to an end. You have quite a lot of tomb left to explore ahead of you, and perhaps other dangers waiting in the wing. But
Yes, because we have the double doors to the south.
you do. I'll give you a guess as to what they lead into.
So,
I know exactly what they lead into.
Do tell.
death and destruction.
The place where my sister worked.
I'm gonna give you a no
brothel.
on that.
Say a brothel.
Well, on that note,
That escalated quickly.
We have this naked guy walking around. That's
no,
what
he
they're
put on
there for.
clothes.
It took him a little while.
We can't just expect a man to spawn into existence fully clothed. How dare you? All right.
It was good playing with everyone tonight. You
Great
guys have a good
having you
night.
all here. Thank you so much for joining and playing. And I look forward to what will come of your explorations next week.
We look forward to beating this up.